After a decade removed from the top flight of British American football, the Nottingham Caesars have made it back to the pinnacle of the sport. However, after an outstanding, unbeaten season in 2024, the Caesars find themselves battling for the biggest prize of them all, the National Championship Trophy. And who else would it be against but the team that ended their playoff hopes in 2023, the Newcastle Vikings? Will the Caesars be able to avenge the loss in the promotion final 2 years ago, or the Vikings strike first in this fledgling season? Over the next 6 months, we will bring you every single home match live here on Caesars TV. My name is Simon Stockwell, and I will be your play-by-play commentator today. And joining me in the booth is former Nottingham Caesars coach, Lloyd Stone. Lloyd, thank you for joining me.
No, it's a pleasure to be here with you today, Simon, and it's a pleasure to come and watch the boys and girls in Burgundy start their new campaign in the Premiership.
It's going to be an interesting season this year as well. Obviously, typically the Premiership is 6 teams, only 5 this year due to the dropout and the relegation. So we're looking at an 8-game regular season here for the Caesars. They're going to be playing the Newcastle Vikings. They've also got to play teams like the Manchester Titans, who have been really at the pinnacle of this sport over the last couple of years. How do you think the Caesars are going to do this year?
I'm hopeful. It was a very different team last year to what you expect when you're coming up. It really was performed in a professional way. I suppose I've got the same mentality I had when Nottingham Forest went up. Of just don't come back down straight away. I'm sure every coach and player there will be aiming for the silverware at the end of the year. But as a fan, I just want to see some competitive games this year and see how the Caesars manage, like I said, for the first time in the top flight for a decade.
Yeah, definitely. And I spoke to the offensive coordinator and Nottingham Caesars chairman, Grant Lawless, earlier, as I caught up with him about how the preseason went and an introduction of a new development squad. I'm here on the field pre-game with Nottingham Caesars offensive coordinator and chairman, Grant Lawless. Grant, thanks for joining me. So, how do you think your pre-season's gone so far? You've put a lot of stuff out on social media about your recruits. It looks like you've done well.
Yeah, we've retained most of our squad. We've brought in some quality players to kind of supplement that. Had some success with Maz heading over to the States. A couple of guys that have moved back down to London. But other than that, we're about 95% of our rosters remained. We've brought in some really quality additions as well.
Yeah, that's outstanding from a promotion team from D1 to the Premiership. But talk to me about your development squad, this new thing you've introduced. Only in the last week or so it's become public. Talk to me more about that.
So what we've tried to do is bridge the gap between under-19s up to adults, from university to adults, and then people at the tail end of their career to be able to continue to play American football and be coached and practice with good quality teams. So we've got for £10 a month, people can join the development squad. That gets them to every practice, all the coaching, all the playbooks, all of that good stuff. And then we've currently got 2 development games that are rostered in this year. So we'll be playing against Lincolnshire Bobbers and Leicester Panthers, and we're looking for a 3rd fixture as well.
Yeah, it's great. And finally, turning to the Newcastle Vikings today, they've recruited well as well, and they've had 1 year in the Premiership. How do you think you'll fare today?
Time will tell. Like, they're a really solid outfit. They did a heck of a job last year. Arguably the 4th best team in the country. So we want to make sure that we're able to try and go toe-to-toe with them. They're going to be a heck of a team. They've got a lot of quality, big players, athletic players. So we've worked hard. We've scouted what we can scout, and we've prepped what we can do. It's down to the guys.
Well, Grant, thank you very much. Best of luck in the game today.
Thanks, Simon.
So that was Grant Lawless there, offensive coordinator and chairman of the Nottingham Caesars. Now, Lloyd, he was obviously talking about, good recruitment over the pre-season, and he gave the standard coach's answer, didn't he? Saying, yeah, I think we'll see how today goes. But what I really want to talk about is the development squad. Now, this is what the Caesars have brought in this year. And it's been lauded by BAFA, we've seen in some articles recently. Talking £10 a month, they get to come to all the training sessions, and the Caesars have teams like the Leicester Panthers, so local teams in Division 2, scheduled to play to allow these guys to play football, potentially either taking the step up from juniors and didn't quite want to go straight into a full Premiership contact season, or all the guys at the tail end of their career. What do you think about that?
I think it's a really great idea to bring into the sport. We've seen a lot of teams trying to introduce B squads that haven't always been successful, haven't always been sustained. I do think this could be a quicker way to get people engaged in the sport.
Yeah, and I will just quickly cut now as we see the captains walking out to the field. We were going to have an interview, and we'll see if we can schedule that in quickly in time or at halftime. Number 22, Andrew Wilkins. We've got number 13 for the Caesars, that's Mark Martin. Number 7, Henry Scanlon. And number 12, Liam McGovern. For the Newcastle Vikings, we've got number 2, that is Taylor Walton. Number 21 is Connor Joyce. Number 14 is Ross Conley. And 56 is Robert Brumpton. They are going to be your captains for today. Looking at the hand signals, it seems that the Newcastle Vikings are going to be taking the ball to start this game. Let's just wait to see our official Jed confirm the signal. He did say he'd be nice and clear for me pre-game, and he has been there. The Newcastle Vikings will start this Premiership season off. We think this is the first game in the Premiership, actually, across both the North and the South, because the rest of them don't kick off until 1 o'clock today. So for Premiership football, this will be the opening salvo, and the Vikings will be the one taking the ball. What do you want to see out of the Vikings here, Lloyd?
You want to see setting up your offense, making sure that you're getting a good time of possession, get those start of season nerves out there. Everyone's been going through pre-season, you're going through all the hype, and now it's time to really prove your mettle.
Yeah, definitely. And for the Caesars, it's a big defense, and they were really run by their defense last year. We saw the Caesars score 50 points regularly, but that defense was outstanding, and they've managed to retain so many key players. Andrew Wilkins, Henry Scanlon. You look on the defensive line, you've got John Winter as well. And in the backfield, there's so many people that they can choose from. We said this last year, they had a really good depth, and it's time to see what the defense can do here.
Yeah, I would be remiss to not mention how much time and care the Nottingham players spend on special teams. They've got more kickoffs, more kick returns than most teams do, and you might even get to see a bit of trickery quite early on.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Grant Lawless does like a bit of trickery. He also runs a bit of the special teams. We can already see it here. A really unconventional kickoff formation here for the Caesars. Double stacked 3x2, as I'll introduce our producer. But the Premiership season is underway here from the David Ross Sports Village in the heart of Nottingham. The Vikings look to return it, bringing it up the right side, and he's going to be taken down. Ooh. Number 2 there. Taylor Walton, the captain, had nowhere to go. That was a big hit by the Caesars to start off this season.
Yeah, and starting off at the 20, would it have been more sensible to run straight forward if there was an option to let it go dead? But let's see what they've got for their offense.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And offensively, the big news that's come out of the Newcastle Vikings, Donovan Piketty, the Durham Saints quarterback for this last Buck season, has come in to play quarterback for the Vikings. Now, he's a really well-established quarterback out of the US. He was outstanding for the Saints, and probably the reason the Saints did so well in the university season. He's there in the white helmet. Time to see what Piketty can do as the Caesars will stack the line. 5 on the line here. And the first play is, it looks like a play action. Piketty rolling out to his right, and he's going to be taken out of bounds. Big gain on the first play, though.
Yeah, good to see those legs starting quite early. It was a nice tight formation with the tight end in and the trips to one side. We'll see what else they bring to the play.
Yeah, Piketty is good. He's a dual threat quarterback. He will go with his legs as well as his arm. We saw that against the Nottingham Gold multiple times last season. If any of you watched the broadcasts here when Nottingham Gold were playing in the university season, he is an outstanding quarterback, frankly. And if you look at that, that is a big offensive line unit for the Newcastle Vikings, but it's matched by just as big a defensive line unit. John Winter, number 97 there, in at nose tackle. So Piketty in the backfield. And it's going to be a blitz here from the Caesars. The running back manages to find a hole, but then gets folded by Andrew Wilkins. And the ball, Wilkins has come up with the ball, but it looks like the official is going to mark him down early.
Oh, that's such a shame. Andrew Wilkins, formerly known as Mr. Tickle for them long arms, really good at getting the ball out.
So 3rd down incoming here for the Vikings. One pass that turned into a QB scramble, one run, and it was a good run there by the running back. That looks like number 5, Misbah Islam. And that was a nifty to just find the hole as the blitzing linebacker of the Caesars came through.
Yeah, he did really good to make any daylight there. I thought it was going to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
3rd down incoming. It looks like it's going to be play action. Deep ball down the far sideline, and it is. Let's check the signal. It is caught. That's number 7 there. Matt Wilson, also of the Durham Saints, coming down with the football. That looks like Piketty to Wilson. That was a connection during the university season, and it may be a connection during the adult season as well. We'd just like to apologise about the noise coming from the background. It looks like there's a boxing tournament going on just outside our commentary booth today.
Yeah, and it's really good to see Black pushing the ball downfield to start with, not being afraid to take a shot when they need it.
Yeah, particularly on third down as well. Sometimes you see coaches go a bit conservative. They want to go, let's just make sure we get this first down. We'll get a second and short maybe at some point. We can try and convert that into a deep shot. But Paquetti there showing a really deep ball. Got Ross Conley, number 14 here in motion, comes down on the orbit. And that is going to be Paquetti, play fake, and it is thrown out, just outstretched reach of number 82, Theo Hewitt. Couldn't quite make the connection there. Heavy blitz off the top side there. That looked like Henry Scanlon coming off the edge.
And this is going to be a game for those Nottingham Caesars linebackers on, do they bite on that play action or do they keep their discipline and move into the pass lanes? We will see how that goes throughout the day.
It's going to be interesting. So going from Division 1 to Premiership, you've suddenly got to become a lot more disciplined. Those play fakes look so much more convincing, and you never quite know who's going to have the ball until it's very clearly out. But Paquetti and Islam look like they're going to be the dual threats in the backfield today. Caesars are showing really heavy pressure, and heavy pressure is going to come, but well held up by the Vikings offensive line. The ball is on the floor. Paquetti is going to be taken down after a big loss. Let's try and work out who that was in there on the sack. I can't tell. Is that number 59? That could be Joshua Oldfield there on the sack.
And it's a real disappointment because that pocket looked pretty good from his O-line. There was a little bit of hesitation. As an offensive coach, you are wanting your QB to stand there and manage that pressure and be able to deliver a strike.
Yeah, so third and extremely long here. We're going to be third and 21 by the looks of the chains here. What can Paquetti do? It's going to be interesting. He's got Theo Hewitt slot at the bottom of your screen. You see Caesars, Sam Pearson there. Big transfer from the Manchester Titans last season. Comes on the blitz. The ball is snapped high. Paquetti has still got it. Sam Pearson's come on the blitz. The ball is up, and we'll wait for the camera to come round. I'm going to presume it was incomplete based on the fact it looks like the Vikings are going to come out to punt.
Sorry, guys, my USB connection failed. The joysticks have stopped.
For those who are waiting to hear the voice from the sideline, that is, of course, our cameraman and producer, Sean Endicott.
That's the big catcher.
I tell you what, Sean's face when he worked at the USB had just gone during that play was hilarious. I looked over to work out what was going on, and Sean was just there like, I don't know, guys. So big loss there. You can see that the Newcastle Vikings having some of those early season jitters, but we are going to see the Vikings come out to punt from the halfway line. They did well not to make that a big 20-yard loss or worse.
Single personal protector on the punt. It's a bit of a unique punting formation.
A bit more of a pro-style punt. That ball is down and it's going to be brought in there. So the Nottingham Caesars will be taking over from just inside their own 20-yard line. So really, that was a hot and cold drive there for the Vikings. You had a good first couple of plays. You know, Islam managing to sneak through the gap. Paquetti was good with his legs, and then that deep ball there to Matt Wilson. And then it looks like that center to QB connection wasn't quite hanging up. Ball snapped high twice. Paquetti doing a really good job to hold that in.
Yeah, and it really is good. Anytime the ball goes over the QB's head, it really is a coin flip who's coming up with it. What you would want to see is that connection getting better as the game goes on.
Yeah, Salasi Sosu is the man in motion as it's Liam McGovern leading the Caesars. And it is a connection to Sosu on the first play. And McGovern does well there under heavy pressure. Number 52, that is Borges Baptista on the QB pressure. But McGovern gets out for a first down for the Caesars.
Yeah, just flicking it up to his old NTU teammate, trying to get that ball out there. Will be interesting to see what Nottingham bring on this drive.
That is a nice opening play there. Picking up at 12 yards. Nice easy pitch and catch. And we saw this last year, the RPO game. Fake the run, but with that option to give it and then throw a slant in behind the defense as they bite up. And when you got Sam Fraser in the backfield as well, that's a really difficult thing to have to guard against. Short motion here, and it is Sam Fraser going to be getting the ball, but what can he do with men in front of him? He makes one miss, he's got the sideline. Sam Fraser has got the room, the 20, the 10, the 5. The Caesars will strike first in this Premiership campaign. What a play. Sam Fraser makes one man miss and toe taps the sideline for 6.
You said, what can he do with people in front of him? He can do whatever he wants, it seems.
That is outstanding for the Caesars. 2 plays and they go down the field for 6 points. I mean, people talked about the Caesars being a bit of a dark horse team for the year. Everyone's going, they've recruited well, but what can they really do when they start facing competition? There we are, 2 plays. Sam Fraser was always dangerous last season, and then as soon as he makes it up into the Premiership here, he's dangerous again.
And what more can you want as an offensive coach? You just get 2 well-run plays and you're in the end zone.
And let's switch to the end on cam as we see the kick up, and it is going to be, I'm glad we did, it is a doink off the post. That's the kicker there, number 37. It's Will Morgan. Yeah, just pushed it right, and it's off the post. So the Nottingham Caesars will carry a 6-0 lead into this first quarter. Yeah, that's right. We've got 2 camera angles this year that we're allowed to flick between. So, an outstanding start there for the Caesars. McGovern, who he's not known for having the deepest of arms, and I think that's the one thing that could hold him back this year, is that he can't quite push that ball 40, 50 yards down the field like we saw Piketty just do. What he's really good at is as a game manager, that short to intermediate area, he very rarely makes bad decisions. Occasionally the ball can be a little errant, but he very rarely will make that catastrophic decision that you can see some quarterbacks make who are a bit more of that gunslinger type. And you saw that there. There was nothing open immediately down the field, so he just takes the check down to Sam Fraser. It wasn't a screen because there was no one set up to block for him, and then Fraser makes magic happen.
Yeah, and having worked with Leon for a few years, both at Trent and at Caesars, he's not the QB you pick for the arm, for the legs. He's the QB you pick for what's between his ears.
Yeah, very much so. We see the Caesars kick off, and it's going to be muffed on the return there, and he's going to be absolutely swallowed up. Taylor Walton's not having a good day so far. He's going to be taken down just past the 20-yard line. So the Vikings going to take over on their second possession.
They're starting a little bit backed up again. You do wonder, as an offensive coach for the Vikings, what are you thinking? You've seen a good few plays to start with. You've seen some things go well. Some of the snap exchange not go as well. So what would you be thinking here?
I think you want to, firstly, you get that snap exchange sorted. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a run. Just try and settle the nerves a little bit and just see what happens here. But it's going to be Piketty and Islam in the backfield again. Caesars in a 52 formation. You see the motion there, Ross Conley, number 14. And it's a handoff. Big hole up the middle. Doesn't take it. Going to be taken just to the side, but a nice gain of 5 yards there from Islam.
Another time Viking coming out in that tight trips formation with the tight end in line. You do wonder, do they want to try out anything else? Is that something that they think they've got a lot of options out of, maybe?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, there is also the fact that they could be setting this up for that swing to Conley. You could also see a reverse then sometimes come back with it as well. The Newcastle Vikings staff is a very good staff. They'll know what they're doing. They'll know what they're trying to set up. And they're probably still in the phase where they're scripting plays here and they're trying to work out quite how the Caesars defense is going to work, because it's a very fluid defense, as you can see here. Suddenly, 5-6 on the line as they bail out, only send 4. Piketty's still got the ball on the play fake, looking for a man, scrambles out to his left, couldn't quite be taken in, and Andrew Wilkins going to try and slide to push him out there. With, is that Sam Fraser? Oh no, Sam Pearson, apologies. It was number 21 coming in. Short gain there, going to be 3rd and 3 or 4 yards here for the Vikings.
Credit to the QB there. A lot of work there to get those extra yards and not to get caught in the pocket earlier. Really working hard to push that outside.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's really difficult to do. Suddenly everything broke down. There's nowhere really to go with that ball. Nothing that they can really do with it. And just to be able to scramble out and not make it a negative play. Some people talk about hidden yardage in the game, and that's really one of them there. That could have cost his team 7 or 8 yards on the sack. Suddenly he's maybe gained them a yard and put them in a much better position for 3rd down. They're really loving this Conley orbit motion as it's going to be brought in and handed off to Islam up the middle with a big hole. And he will easily pick up the 1st down as Henry Scanlon there, number 7, is going to be the man to take him down.
Yeah. Good work to limit it to a short game, but very good work by Black to actually make those additional yards. It's third and short, 4th and short, whatever it may be. You're probably thinking it's going to be a run anyway, so to defend it and not give up anything further is good.
Yeah, that was good. Although a big hole created by that Vikings offensive line. And with only 3 men on the defensive line for the Caesars, you do wonder whether if those kind of holes keep getting created, they may have to go to a forefront, although they are kind of in a hybrid forefront already at the moment with all the linebackers coming down. And it's going to be a handoff to Islam again. Number 94 for the Caesars manages to wrap him up and take him down there. That is, it's Xavier Marshall Odonore. Apologies, Marshall. That's too difficult to get through in one go when I was scrolling down to find it. That's a great play there.
Yeah. We've seen a bit of hot and cold in the first drive, and I think we're seeing in the second drive just trying to get your 3 yards, stay on schedule, make sure that you're making good offensive plays.
Yeah, 2nd and 9 there incoming, managing to limit that only to 1 yard. I thought forward progress would have taken him slightly further there. So it looks like we've got Hewitt and Conley as the receivers to the bottom of your screen. I can't quite see who the tight end is from this angle. And that's Sam Pearson, the linebacker, going down into a 3-point stance before bailing out. Piketty's looking deep, got nowhere to go, and then Conley comes open late. That was a great route there by Conley against number 38, Andy Wilson.
Absolutely great from the QB as well to sit in that pocket, watch it develop in front of him, not try and force something too early, but deliver a strike when it was ready.
So big play there. For anybody who wants to put stuff in the YouTube comments, we do have them open. We can see them as they come through, so please do. Let us know what you think of the game. Any full-time predictions or any scores from around the league as well. That would be much appreciated. But it looks like Newcastle are really sticking with the guys they know here. That looks like Jake Bowcutt, number 87 there, in at tight end. And they're keeping the same formation out, which is an interesting thing to see. As it's going to be a keeper by Piketty with nowhere to go, and that is Sam Pearson that's going to bring him down. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2, but well played there by Pearson. Trying to turn him back in, make him go back towards the teeth of the defence where the rest of his teammates are.
A really good little run there. What I would like to see is, in my style of coaching, I'd like to see him take a slide, take a knee, whatever it may be. He's been really good at getting to the sideline on his scrambles so that he's avoiding those big hits. Protect yourself and you can last the whole game.
I don't think Piketty is the kind of player that's going to want to do that. He wants to pick up every yard he can here. So we have 2nd down and 9 incoming for the Vikings. The snap is high. Piketty jumps. Islam's going to have to try and go around. And number 22, Andrew Wilkins, is going to take him down from behind. Otherwise, that was a big game. But again, this Vikings O-line has got the push on the Caesars defensive line.
Yeah, and we did see the Caesars start out in a 5-man line. They've gone to a 3-man line, and they're walking a linebacker down every so often. Do they want to consider bringing some more heft up there to plug those gaps? Maybe what we're going to see from Nottingham to defend against these runs, because they're nickel and diming their way down.
They are. We have seen issues with the Vikings centre to quarterback combination. The snaps have been a little bit difficult. That one, Piketty had to jump to go get it, but it didn't really matter. It does mess up the timing very slightly, but Islam was able to correct for that. So here we are, creeping linebackers from the Caesars. It will be a drop back from Piketty. Wilkins with the big pressure, but it's a deep ball short, and it is intercepted there. It's going to be taken down, but it was an absolute floater, and Harry Johnson comes down, number 32. The Caesars will turn the ball over, but that came from the pressure from Andrew Wilkins from the top side of your screen. He jumps the cut block of the running back. The running back went for his knees, and he didn't quite get there enough. And Wilkins, even though he didn't get the sack, he still forced the pressure. Piketty having to throw off his back foot, and suddenly that ball was very, very short of who I think was Ross Conley there, the receiver, going down the field.
Yeah, you sometimes talk about pressure sacks. That was or coverage sacks. That was very much a pressure interception. He just tried to get the ball out and away, and unfortunately couldn't deliver it with how we've seen his arm in the first couple of plays.
So here we are. Liam McGovern will take over in about the same place he started last time, and that is Welly T. I'm not going for Welly's last name. Wellington. Oh, there's a flag come out late. Wellington Taffray, but we'll always refer to him as Welly T on the stream. In at running back after the injury, it's good to see him back, and we will now wait to see what the flag is. I think it's going to be holding on the offense by the look of our officials. And speaking of our officials today, I just want to confirm with the white cap you can see on the screen here before I give it. So we have holding on the offense. We can't get a number, but that will be declined. Speaking of officials, your referee today, Jed Brooks Lewis. Your line judge is Tom. Umpire is Emma Harris. Back judge is Todd. And the other is Mike Cockerill. If you want to get involved with BAFA, we're always desperately short of officials. Please pause the stream, scan the QR code on your screen now, and you can sign up for BAFRA's next training program or search Join BAFRA.
She registered the other day to do it for this autumn.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
there we
I
are.
signed up to get more interest so I can do it during the uni season.
There we go. Sean Endicott, as we see mesh here, and that is the first catch of the season from Ben Harrison. And that is, I'm going to say, we try not to talk about the officiating decisions. I feel there's an unfair spot. I feel like Ben was down before the ball squirmed its way out, but well jumped on by the Caesars offensive line, irrespective.
Yeah, you never want to lose yards on a play, but that was quick thinking by the O-lineman just to get down, secure it.
Yeah. So Ben Harrison, last year's Division 1 final MVP, which was not a particularly difficult vote when it came to it. We were in the group chat and we just went, it's kind of got to go to 8, hasn't it? He made some monster catches in that final, and he's a monster receiver. As McGovern goes deep down the sideline for Sosu and just overthrows him. It was 3rd down. They had to go for the conversion. So 4th down incoming. It will be the first time that we see the Caesars punt away this season.
Yeah, you never want to lose that momentum in a game like this, but when you've got that interception, you really want to create some momentum off it, even if it's just field position, even if it just gets you into a better punting position. You don't want to be punting from what is essentially your 15-yard line.
No, definitely not. So, punter's going to be walking back. His heel's almost on the goal line. That is number 37 there, Will Morgan. He's also kicker and punter. If they'd have gone quickly, they'd have got Newcastle with 12 men on the field. Morgan is back. Pressure is applied, and it is blocked. That was number 21 of the Vikings coming through. That was Connor Joyce, who's come through completely unblocked and got his hands on the punt. The Vikings going to take over in excellent field position. And just while we're here, one of the comments coming out on the YouTube stream, shout out to the original Vikings from 2015 still playing, Islam, and that man Joyce just going through, as well as Brompton on the offensive line.
Amazing stuff. That is just not what you want to see from Nottingham. You get this little spot, you get this interception, and suddenly you're giving their offense another shot within your 10. There's no sticks up. It is 1st and goal to go.
Yeah, it is. So the Vikings will have 4 shots to get this in the end zone here. Piketty and Islam will be trying to do the work through the backfield. And it is a heavy formation here. Effectively 2 tight ends here for the Vikings. The Caesars now suddenly very compressed. Snap back. And it is going to be one of those RPO options. You saw 2 offensive linemen pull from the left side of the screen. But Piketty still threw it out there. Looked like number 82. I think that is Theo Hewitt, who was the intended receiver, who couldn't quite get hold of the ball.
Simon, if I could just say one thing about the punt. I think with that motion that the Caesars did, it looked like Newcastle just took the advantage on the rush instead of the coverage. So when the man motioned across, the person who was on him stayed. So then they got an extra rusher in, and that's the person who made the block.
So Piketty is going to be in the backfield here. Again, same formation. It's going to be a handoff, buck sweep there. Couldn't get that with the first tackler, but number 32 there for the Caesars is going to bring him down. Harry Johnson, who just got the interception, is going to be the man to bring him down.
So we've seen 2 attempts, close down the gap a little bit, but still got some more space to go.
5 yards. You're now 3rd down and goal. Piketty's been doing well. Do you consider a read option here? Potentially try and catch the Caesars defense unaware? Or do you go for the pass here? As they're just going to flip this formation here. So they've got Conley and Hewitt to the right-hand side. And then they have 1 tight end and 1 acting as an up back to the left.
You've got 7 men on the line. Use them as blockers will be my mentality.
You could see number 72. He was getting ready to pull. And it is going to be a run. And it's going to be taken down there. So the Vikings now in a tricky position. You're down 6, but you're going to question quite what you're going to do. Islam's slow to get up, but he looks all right now. He's just trying to see if he's walking gingerly. And it looks like Piketty will lead the offense onto the field here. 3 yards to go for pay dirt. Piketty, effectively, this is a 2-point play. It's go big or go home here. Piketty and Islam in the backfield. They have been a dynamic duo all day as the Vikings are trying to sort out their formation. They're going to put their 2 tight ends into the boundary. They may run into the boundary here, which would be interesting. Very little up the middle here. But what will the Vikings do? Heavy blitz from the side. It is going to be Islam. Is he going to have anywhere to go? He's going to have a big push. And there is a horde of white jerseys there to take him back, as it looks like it's going to be turned over on the original line of scrimmage. We do have a Caesars player down, injured at the moment. Let's just double check on the number. I couldn't quite get a number there, I'm afraid. We don't actually have 90 on the Caesars roster. All the rosters are given to us by the teams, and we really do appreciate it. Occasionally, there's going to be late jersey swaps. He seems all right. I was worried with how he was carrying his shoulder. It looked like it could have been a bit worse than it was, but he's being helped up there. Looks like John Winton, number 97, giving him a hand up. He's going to go to the sideline and just get checked over by the physios. But now the Caesars are going to be taking over. 87 yards to go down the field. Obviously a 90-yard field here at the University of Nottingham. So, interesting run of 4 downs there. Your incomplete pass, a sweep for a couple of yards, then a sweep kind of for no game, and then, okay, you gained a yard or 2 there with Islam, but an absolute horde of jerseys. You've got to think the momentum's almost slightly swung back towards the Caesars here.
You would think so. I think the idea to go for it on 4th down and this short is still a good one, because look at where Nottingham are now. You've closed a lot of your playbook down. You can't do a long hold ball. You can't really push the field as much, because if you send pressure here, you can be getting 2 points the other way.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a short motion across the field there. Snap back. McGovern's going to look down the sideline for Sosu. Sosu ended up having to play DB there. Bat it out of the hands of that. Looks like it was Taylor Walton, number 2, who was ready to come down with it.
And that is the joy of playing so tight and close. You can play really sticky on defense on these players.
Yeah, and someone who I just noticed come across the screen, it's nice to see him back, Josh Oliver-Tassin, the former Loughborough and NTU, I believe, as well. Did he play?
Did he?
He played for Loughborough, definitely.
Yeah, played for Loughborough and GB.
He played Loughborough and GB. Obviously, tore his Achilles early, even before the season, last season. Really been rehabbing to get back. He's a dynamic receiver as well. It's good to see him back on the field there, paired with Harrison at the bottom of the screen. Quick pass out, and Sosu can't bring it in, just through the hands. I think McGovern threw it a touch early, and that is going to be dropped. 3rd down and 10 here from the 3-yard line to go for the Caesars.
And if you're the Vikings here, you're almost salivating at this 3rd and 10. You've got a real option to get your pass rushers just to pin their ears back and go for the QB. Otherwise, Nottingham are going to be punting from their 4-yard line at this stage.
Well, even worse than that, by the time the punter's stood in the back of the end zone, it's going to be really tricky for them. But what can McGovern do here? Interesting formation there. Stack to the bottom of your screen as you see Harrison motion across to join Sosu. Oh. And it is a jump. Can McGovern get something off? No, they're going to call unabated to the quarterback. That is almost unfortunate for McGovern there, because he would have had at least the free play to throw it up. But the rule is, if you have a clean run at the quarterback and you've jumped offside, the referees will call it dead there for player safety. And so that's what they will call. They'll call unabated to the quarterback, as we see Jed Brooks-Lewis, who I did have a chat with Jed earlier and say that we'd moved from our old commentary position. Last time he used to be the head judge here. We used to be able to hear him through the glass panes at a distance of about 100 yards. Jed is so unbelievably loud, but really clear with all his signals and all his wording. But we can't hear him anymore because we're right in the middle of the David Ross Sports Village. But 3rd and 5 now for McGovern, as you see a bunch trips come out to the bottom of your screen there.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a run here potentially. Grant Lawless is a big man to go for his 4-down territory, but now we do see the pass.
Do you see a pass, mesh rail? Sam Fraser going to have to do some work, and work he has done. He has been dynamic for the Caesars today. He's only touched the ball twice, but both of them were big plays there. That one, he picked it up a couple of yards short of the 1st down and manages to shimmy his way round. And that's a big pickup now, because suddenly you're out of that sort of safety zone, excluding a snap over the head. And you've now got a little bit more confidence to play here.
Yeah, and as an offensive coordinator, you're now opening more of your playbook up. You've got those deeper developing routes available to you. You've got the longer motions, the longer plays available to you.
That's
a shift.
A big shift late. That's Dean Gabriel Oho in at tight end. It's going to be a handoff to Fraser. The ball was on the floor there. The snap was low, and that stuffed up the timing there for the Caesars. McGovern was late to pick it up and get it into the belly of Fraser. He was then late to hit the hole and he's going to be taken down there.
It's a real shame he had a puller out in front. There was a potential there that he could really create some yards afterwards.
Yeah, great play by Rumanura, the nose tackle there for the Newcastle Vikings. That was also number 18. That's Matthew Simpson there in on the tackle. Oh, no, it's not. I'm reading the wrong roster.
You have to say Rumanuras.
No, that was Borges Baptista in as nose tackle and number 80.
He was a traitor.
Akanegbu there as the other defensive line. I even colour-coded these rosters so that I wouldn't do this.
So here we go.
Hand off to Fraser. Fraser's got nowhere to go. Again, he's going to be brought down. And that's another big play. That might be Robert Brumpton there coming in from behind to go tidy that up. And Borges Baptista again on the tackle. So the Caesars have got themselves into 3rd and long yet again.
Yeah. Hopefully they can pull something out of the magic bag of tricks to get something deeper downfield here, but we will see what they've got. They have chose to go sometimes to go short with this and allow their players to make moves after the catch.
And I think it's going to be a timeout taken by the Nottingham Caesars. Whatever was going on, I'm not sure Grant Lawless, the offensive coordinator, was particularly happy with it. As you see the Caesars go to the sideline and the Vikings, I don't know, they just want to stand around. They don't need any water at the moment. We're still only in the first quarter. They're doing all right. So, as a recap of the game so far, it looks like it's been one big play. Sam Fraser managing to shake one tackle, and then there was no one to go down the sideline with him. And that was what led to 6-0. It was a doink off the right upright on the PAT, which meant it's only 6 and not 7.
From the Vikings, we've seen some good offense. We've seen some plays that have really hit, but we've also seen the unfortunate interception while being faced with pressure. You've got to think, if you're the Vikings, are you upset at this point? Like, yes, you'd rather be ahead, but you've shown some good things. You've had one crucial mistake. Otherwise, your defense has reasonably been quite good.
Yeah, let's just quickly go to the YouTube comments and shout out Rob Hardwick, former long-time...
Number 38.
Number 38, Rob Hardwick. Long-time Nottingham Caesar, watching, sat in the changing rooms at Sandwell, ready to take the field in Division 1. Glad the Sea got promoted too, so I don't have to chase Sam Fraser around. Also, is that Lloyd I can hear on comms?
It is indeed.
Rob Hardwick, who played for a very long time before moving to Sandwell there in on the commentary. Big pressure against McGovern, he throws it up, and it's just out of the reach of... I love seeing the idea of having a 91 at linebacker. I don't have you on my roster, I'm afraid. It could be. I've got a couple of players I didn't get numbers for. So there's only 3 of them. That could have been either Gannon or Gawley. I don't know. If it's one of you, I have the deepest apologies. Your team didn't write your number down on your roster.
Now, I thought we had a D lineman of some sort down deep, but no, linebacker instead. But yeah, what are we going to see in this punt formation from Nottingham?
Well, it was blocked last time off the edge, and you can see him there, number 21, Connor Joyce. Although, again, it's an interesting punt formation. Didn't follow him. They do pick him up, but it's come down the middle. That's going to be a flag out, though, in the backfield. Yeah, they called it. I saw Jed reaching to the pocket. So it's gonna depend on what the call is here, because you can have roughing the punter, which is 15 yards and automatic first down, or you can have running into the punter, which is 5 yards and not an automatic first down. As I look over to Sean to try and get a yes or no as to what it was. Now, it all depends whether he ran into the plant leg. So that's the difference between if you run into the punter and don't touch the leg he's got stuck in the ground to kick it away, that is going to be running into it.
For what it's worth, the leg that's hurt is his kicking leg, not his plant leg. That really doesn't say where he was hit.
He managed to basically get up underneath the kicking leg and push it even further. So I think it's almost like a strained hamstring or something like that. But this is an issue now for the Caesars because this is their kicker and punter, and you kind of have to hope that they've got a backup kicker and punter.
He's dogging off. He's fine.
Yeah,
at least relatively.
They are.
If we pull the main camera to the right, we might get Jed to give us the signal.
Sorry, I didn't want to show him when he was on the ground.
No, that's fine. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen a Caesar stream before, if there's an injury, we'll pan away from it. We're not going to show injured players on the ground. This isn't the NFL. We don't show Zach Miller's leg.
Oh,
for anyone who did watch that live, that was a bad day.
I mean, sometimes you can't avoid things like when Greenlaw got heard during the Super Bowl, just standing on the sideline.
Yeah.
But you don't have to show the replay 100 times.
No, you don't. So it looks like the backup punter is going to be Sam Fraser coming in here to punt for the Nottingham Caesars. A little bit of confusion as you hear the boxing announcer really try and ruin our stream here. And that is snap back. Sam Fraser, really quick punting action, manages to get it away under heavy pressure. And I'm going to say that ball's gone out of bounds. And now we play the game of the referee decides where he wants to spot it and sort of just spots it accordingly. No one ever knows where it actually goes out of bounds. And so far, they're just... Yeah, it's the 38-yard line this time.
It's better than your own 10.
Yeah, and Sam Fraser has kicked a few PATs, a few field goals for Nottingham in the past, so there is some experience there. Not sure if we've seen him punt before, but manageable.
I have seen him punt before. I knew it would be him. I was just trying to add to the jeopardy for the viewers at home. Any of the readers at home just wondering what would be going on. As it looks like I'm just waiting to see here, but I think the officials are going to try and duke me out. We are now in the second quarter. Yeah. And this is what to be fair, we talk about the defensive lineman's dream, don't we, Sean? The ball is midfield on the 50 at the end of the quarter, so all you have to do is walk 2 yards to the other side of the ball. This time, they didn't even need to do that. They're coming out onto the field anyway.
Yeah, it's quarter break after a punt, so that's perfect.
Yeah, that is actually perfect.
They should just do closest punt to the quarter break.
Yeah, that's it. Just here we are. BAFA, your rules committee. I've got 2 new members here.
just closest punt to the end of a quarter. That's when you have it switch. So
at the end of the first quarter, the Nottingham Caesars are in the ascendancy, but it is only 6-2-0. But the Vikings defense has looked good. The Vikings offense has looked really good as well, led by Piketty. And we will see him here in the white helmet take the drop back. He's going to roll out to the right. He's going to throw the ball, and it's going to be nicely caught. The ball has come out. Big hit there by Andy Wilson, number 38. Andy Wilson's played a lot of high-level football, University of Nottingham, what were now formerly the Tamworth Phoenix, when he was over there, and has now come to play for the Nottingham Caesars. But that is... Oh.
Yeah, they called it incomplete.
They called it incomplete. So potentially he was still bobbling it. So maybe Andy Wilson didn't lay a big hit and knock the ball out.
I think it's both.
Hey, we'll call it both. Andy's a friend of mine. We'll call it both. So there we are. But that was a great play. It looked like Piketty to Hewitt there. Hewitt's been a nifty little receiver out of the slot so far today. He's had a really good game.
We've gone to a more even formation now with the tight end on the single receiver side.
Yeah, the standard sort of pro formation you often see. High snap again, fake, and Wilkins has got the pressure. It's gone deep, and it's caught over the head. That's Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson, who's played his university football at the Durham Saints, takes that in 4-6. I didn't see who the DB was that it was caught on, but it was just, they jumped a touch too early there, and it was unfortunate not to be caught. I can't quite see who that was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, potentially number 15. That was Bismarck there, who's come over from Italy now to play his football for the Nottingham Caesars.
10 out of 10 route running, 4 out of 10 celebration. I don't know what the sitting down with the ball was.
Is that not this? I don't watch soccer, as we'll have to call it on this stream, but is that not the Haaland? Potentially, yeah. We've got 3 confused faces in the booth here, and as this is now some old school football. Your quarterback is also your holder.
As a DB, you have to be aware of what coverage you're in and what's behind you. You can't jump a ball without safety help unless you know you're going to get it. You got to coordinate a little bit better on the back end.
It's the start of the season for both offense and defense, and I'm sure those are the sort of things that the defensive coaches will have ironed out throughout the year.
Yeah, Danny Crane, who, if memory serves me correctly, was also the Durham Saints kicker. They've done a really good job of recruiting Saints players. Snap it up. Kick is away, and the kick is good. So the Vikings will take a 7-6 lead here in the first game of the BAFA Premiership North. And again, it's a big play.
Yeah.
And that's what both teams have conceded now. One big play each to go down the field for a touchdown. It's been a really interesting game, though, so far. A real back and forth. Some people, I don't know whether we were quite expecting the Caesars to hold it this close. The Vikings are a really good team. As we heard from Grant Lawless in the pre-game interview, arguably maybe the 4th best team in the country last year. They made it to the semi-finals in their first year as a Premiership team, which is basically unheard of.
Yeah, it really does show the quality of the team that has gone through that promotion process, spent a year in, and not just survived but thrived in the Prem, and then to come back to the team that they knocked out 2 years ago. There's a lot of emotions from previous players from that game in there, but also a lot of new faces that are stepping up to the plate for the first time.
Yeah. Simon, one thing to note here is because of a penalty. Look at where the kickoff is.
Oh, so they're kicking off from the 50, so there must have been a 15-yard penalty.
I saw Newcastle on warm-ups. They'll often put this on one hash and then kick it high and across to the far side to try to get a little pooch kick going where it's this exact distance. They did practice this in warm-ups.
So let's have some fun. Let's watch this from the end zone camera. It's very rare you get to do this. And it is going to be taken. Wow, Sam Fraser swings across Bismarck Yeboah to take that. Sam Fraser's got a bit of a hole if he can keep it going. He's going to be taken down there. We'll flick back to our main camera. But taken down at about the 25-yard line there for Sam Fraser. Look at him. He hawked across, stole it out of Yeboah's hands. And he's like, no, I want to touch the ball now.
No, really good to see them get that far out, past the 25, on such a backed-up kick where they didn't have that room to play with.
Yeah, and it looks like, just checking in the comments there, Oliver Monaghan, Matt Wilson prefers his long snapping duties than scoring the touchdowns. I mean, people who like long snapping basically just don't like running scout kickoff in practice. That's why people long snap it, so they don't have to do that. So we see this again here, this shift from the almost double ace formation out to doubles here. McGovern looking deep. He's going to have Sosu, who's going to bring it in. Sosu's still on his feet. Up. Is he going to go? He's tiptoeing the sideline. Is the ref going to mark him out of bounds? At the moment, Sosu is in for the touchdown, but they called him out of bounds. Sosu did not manage to toe tap properly. Looking back at the replay, I think it's fair.
I think it's fair, and you saw the opposition coach doing exactly what you expect. Screaming and pointing, his foot went out, his foot went out.
It's not his fault he can't see the lines. These are practically illegal.
Let's not talk about the lines for today. As we all remember, the game is allowed to be played, but if you're red-green colourblind, it might be a touch different.
We'll see. Maybe next year we'll get some new colour lines. But anyway, big play by Sousa.
Big play as we see the shift again. And the Vikings, basically, they don't need to adjust to it much. They'll just move their apex player out on defense. Double pull there on the counter. Wellington Taffray is going to try and push forward. Gain of only about 2 or 3 yards there.
Still good to stay on schedule on your first down play. Get yourself a few yards after that big throw. Reset mentally and get ready for the drive.
So,
who's on O-line today for Caesars?
We have
73, 79, 72.
So that is Jack Hansen, Michael Ojobo, Harry Washburn, and I forgot the rest of the numbers.
We'll go through.
We'll get a shout out for them hogs, don't you worry.
We've got multiple linemen up here in the booth as Welly T got nowhere to go. You can see 3 or 4 Vikings players in the backfield there.
They're not going to get a shout out on that play. I think they had quite the assignment right for blocking. They had 3 on 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So what to see.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Borges Baptista down on the field. We'll pan away from that. I'm hoping he's all right. I think he just got caught up a bit in the collision as multiple people came down.
Here's a close up of the hug.
Let's have a flick. So 77.
That's Jordan Lee, isn't it?
That is Jordan Lee. 73 is Jack Hansen. 74, James Simpson. 72 is Michael Ojobo. And is it 79, the final, Harry Washburn? Yeah, Josh Oluwatassin. I've got to say, I was never a man for what they would call field swag. But the red Supreme hand warmer is just, when it's red against the burgundy, it's not quite the right colour.
No. I think he has an orange face cage, if memory serves me well.
Yeah, but Brit ball. Hey, I can't talk. One of my quarterbacks today has a purple helmet in the under-19 game. Got it for a discount because it's purple.
Sean, that's just Sean. Oh, Sean. What can you say? Let's think back.
Can I beam with pride here for a moment that I've
no
3. I think I've coached. What did we say it was? Jordan, Jack, came through our under-19 program. and it's great to see them playing here at the next level. And then James is another local uni player as well that's been around the game a long time, and I coached him back in his Trent days. He's an absolutely massive human being.
Yeah, bunch to the bottom of the screen, and it's going to be a quads flow now with the running back on that side. And McGovern, McGovern's going to have to make. Oh, he's
started the slide too early.
I started the slide incredibly early, according to the official at the top side.
That's probably right.
And it looks like number 23 there, that's Elliot Jeffrey, the running back, almost went out into the pattern. McGovern was very clearly expecting him to come across the face to take the handoff, and if he had, there was a big hole that opened up there.
And Liam did a good job there to just take what was available to him and take a knee. I don't know what the backup quarterback situation for either team is today, but usually you want to stay where you start as long as possible.
You don't want to find out.
Yeah.
unless it's your choice. So, trips to the bottom of the screen. This is 4th down for the Caesars. Heavy pressure, throwing up, and that looks like, is that number 1 there? That's Kingsley Eke, who just didn't look for the ball. I think McGovern wanted a sort of a hot route, out route.
When it's 100% a false start, though, on the place backside.
Well, we didn't see it. we never saw that.
If the guys on the field are doing as good as they can. So.
If the referees didn't see it, then we didn't see it either, Sean.
Kingsley plays for Trent. But then I think he also played for NFL Academy.
Oh,
I'm not sure on that. You have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's the right guy.
A lot of local players here for the Nottingham Caesars from university teams as well. They've done a really good job of getting those university players to come and play adult football in the summer. But now Paquetti will lead his team back out onto the field. Doubles with what looks like Islam in the backfield, but it will be Paquetti to throw down to the sideline. That's going to be caught there. That is Matt Wilson, number 7, the touchdown scorer, who does a good job. Quick out route there before bringing that ball in.
And it's good to see the Vikings change up their formation a little bit, push the Nottingham Caesars defence to cover all 53 yards of the field instead of having that tight end and the single receiver side.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. Playing doubles, they put a lot of tight ends, seeing 2 tight end sets with almost like 2 nub tight ends. So they're really rotating through the formations today and seeing what this Nottingham Caesars defence will counter it with. Caesars wanting to come out in a base 3-4 defence by the look of it. And you just see some really strange rotations there, like a safety rotating all the way down, a linebacker almost dropping back to play safety. It's a really fluid defense. Like, I have no idea where these guys are going to go. But trips to the short side, bottom of your screen. Isolated receiver at the top.
And flag.
And a flag, which I think is going to be a delay of game, potentially, based on who threw it. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait for Jed to throw his moves.
Jed's gonna call it for a delay of game on the offense. So that will be 5 yards move back.
It's the start of the year, so you expect to get a few of these procedural penalties, just knocking the rush off, but it just really does kill a drive to lose those 5 yards and to declare one of your plays and formations early.
Yeah, but it'll come back out. I think they're probably going to run the same play they were doing anyway. So we are waiting to see what that was. Pressure from the Caesars trying to come through. John Winter breaks through the line, putting the pressure on Paquetti, and incomplete there to the bottom of the screen. The score bug just hiding it, but Andrew Wilkins making the pass break up there. It's fine.
But I don't have the score bug on my camera.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's one of those things. Did you know we put graphics over the top of this stream?
Really? Well, they're very large.
They are very large.
You considered making them smaller.
I didn't make them.
Our sponsors deserve big graphics.
Well, the sponsors do. The scoreboards have been big.
Well, it'll be fine.
The sponsors I like. They're all great. We'll talk about them in a bit.
So we are looking 2nd down. I'm just trying to read the chains at the top of the screen. 2nd down. Paquetti will take the drop back. John Winter will have the pressure again, and it's thrown out. Matt Wilson is the intended receiver, and he does take it in before Henry Scanlon's going to hawk him down out of bounds. But it's been Paquetti to Wilson. We saw it over the winter, and we're seeing it in the summer now as well. That has been the big connection, as that is a chain mover as well. 1st down here for the Vikings.
Yeah, and I suppose any point where you're in doubt, having a faithful target that you've worked with for over the summer, over the year, possibly multiple years at university. I don't know these two that well. It can be a really good thing to get together with.
Yeah, Matt Wilson is there. Bottom of your screen, slot left is Adam Bamford, long-time receiver as well within the British game. Is it going to be pressure? It's going to be more pressure. It's Andrew Wilkins as Piketty rolls out to his right. And again, Piketty loves this roll out to the right. And then it's collected in by Ross Conley, number 14 there.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of buying himself some extra time in, not exactly the pocket because he's rolling out, but he's buying himself extra time to set his feet, throw the ball and get it out there.
Oh, I'm just getting it corrected that Matt Wilson had graduated last year, so he wasn't playing for the Durham Saints. Sorry, I only commentated one of those games, so I was trying to remember. Apologies to all the Durham
spirit
coaches.
is there, but the actual connection, no.
Well, it was one of those things. I do a bit of pre-game scouting. I went on and saw he had a Durham Saints helmet on an Instagram post, so just assumed he was still there.
Fair enough.
Some people don't stay at university as long as I did.
Extra pressure.
Heavy pressure. And Piketty's going to go a long way back, and that ball is just going to bounce. But that was really big pressure there. Again, it was Sam Pearson, number 21. I mean, he got chopped down by the running back, but it was him on the heavy pressure there. I was just trying to have a check. Marshall Odonore as well on the pressure, number 94. So, third down and about 4. It's been a while since we've seen Islam with a proper handoff run as well. But when they were doing it, he was usually good for about 5 yards carry. So it would be interesting to see what the Vikings want to do here today. They've been quite a pass-happy team, been pretty aggressive with going deep down the field.
Yeah, we've not seen any change up of their cadence, it doesn't seem much. So give Nottingham a taste of their own medicine, maybe go on and...
We are in empty here, though. As you see, Piketty drop back. Lyman in his way. He gets up. How has he done that? Piketty has done a really good job to get that ball out and almost get it complete as well. That was... I don't understand how he nearly got that to Jonathan Marfsey, number 81.
The O-line coach in me was saying just eat it and don't fumble the ball, but you do trying to get that ball out, trying to push it, and getting very close to making that connection.
Yeah. So it looks like the Vikings will... This is kind of that dead man zone where you don't really know what to do. If I was the Vikings, I'd probably stay on offense here. I don't think the Caesars have put together really a complete drive that you would be worried about so far. But it does look like it's going to be a punt formation here. Ross Conley, number 14, is going to be the punter. One personal protector, almost like you see in the pros, as the snap is back. And it is kicked away. Now let's see what kind of punt it is. It's going to go out of bounds, so let's play the game again. Where's he going to mark it? Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. That's almost where the ball bounced, and it was 7 yards out of bounds. So who knows? The 8-yard line is where it's going to be today.
That sort of no man's zone you talk about. What is the difference between getting that touchback versus having another attempt at trying to keep yourself on offense? You're starting off at the 8, so your defense can pin its ears back a little bit more. But would you want to roll the dice and try and get that extra offensive play?
Personally, I'd have gone for it. On 4th and 4, okay, you've not had a good couple of plays leading up into it, but you've shown the ability to do it. I would have thought I'd have been thinking about it on 3rd down, so on 3rd down I'd have run the ball, try to get that to a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, so you've got the opportunity to run that again. Yeah, interesting formation. I'm expecting the shift. And the shift is not happening. It is going to be a handoff to Sam Fraser, sweep to the outside. And Sam Fraser throws one man off, throws a second man off as he goes out of bounds. Pickup of about 5 yards here.
Good wide zone work there. It seems to look like people working in combination to get out and about. Nice to see those blocks developing up. You do want to see that cutback lane develop at some point, but he rode it to the sideline. He took what he could get.
Yeah, and that's great work there by Sam Fraser to take the yards he can. Suddenly, the Caesars were going... Sorry, I just saw somebody get absolutely hit in the face in the boxing and took it like a champ. The Caesars have been playing, Division 1 football. They were arguably a team far too good for Division 1 football last year. They've now stepped up to the level they should be at, as it is going to be Liam McGovern trying to keep the play. Oh, it looked like it was going to be a play fake to Sam Fraser and then just nowhere to go. And McGovern's going to go down and swallow the sack here. So they're going to be 3rd down, back where they were, 3rd and 10 on negative play.
You don't want to see it in your end zone, so close to your end zone, those negative plays, those taking the sacks, but it is what is the alternative? You force the ball out, it's tipped, it's picked. Live to see another down.
Yeah, on second down as well. They've shown the ability to go deep. They've got Oliver Tassin and Sosu to the top of the screen there. Ben Harrison in very much single coverage to the bottom of the screen. And they're going to look that way. It's going to be Sosu with the reception, and Sosu is going to take it for a first down. So Sosu, he's had a couple of drops, a couple go through the hands. He's starting to become a bit more confident now. He's a good, nifty receiver. Again, showed that in the Division 1 final. If you want to go back and watch that on YouTube, some dreadful punditry early in that game. Well, pre-game and at halftime there was.
No, and you don't want to make football sound too simple, but throw it to the fast guy to get yourself out of a bad place is not usually a bad plan.
If you've got 99 pace, it usually works. Snap back, McGovern. He's got Fraser out of the backfield. They haven't accounted for him in the passing game all day, and that is going to be marked a first down. So it's going to be another chain mover. Sam Fraser, that wheel route that's coming out the backfield, even on the short boundary side, he's doing a really good job. Brings it in, manages to toe tap down the sideline a bit. Pick up a good gain there. I mean, that would be a gain of about 10.5 yards based on where they spotted it. Just got a first down. But that was a good play there.
You wonder if Nottingham are going to start playing with a bit more speed now. They seem to have got a good few plays where they've connected, getting the motion again, which is a big staple of Grant Lawless's offences.
And that is Oliver Tassin after a year out. He is the man in motion. Sosu is going to be the person who catches the ball, though. Oliver Tassin still waiting for his first reception in over a year. But Sosu's probably got about 5 or 6 receptions already in this first half.
Yeah, he seems to have found a bit of a connection there, Liam, and he keeps going back to it. And while it's still there, you can't blame him.
No, you cannot blame him at all. Ben Harrison's really been covered up well there by Taylor Walton, number 2 of the Vikings. He's had, Taylor's had a really big job here to go up against Ben Harrison. He's a tall, strong receiver, but also incredibly quick as well on those jump balls. McGovern not looking Harrison's way. He's looking the way of... Is that Oliver Tassin? It was Oliver Tassin. And there was a bit of hand fighting as he got to the stem of the route. I think Oliver Tassin was asking for a pass interference call.
Asking for it in the play is never going to work, unfortunately. You've got to be fighting through it. You've got to be looking for that ball in case it does come back to you.
And looking at it, he was contacted by a receiver after the ball came out. So I can see what his question was, because he was more than 5 yards down the field at that point as well. And it's going to leave a third down here for the Caesars. Is it going to be Sam Fraser, number 2, the running back? Are we going to see Sosu come across on a slant? That looks like Sosu to the top of the screen there. He's going to look up for the tight end. That I believe is going to be number 80. Is it going to be number 82 or is it going to be number 88? Going to be number 88, Gabriel Ojo, who couldn't quite bring it in. The ball was low. I'm not sure he'd quite picked up the first down anyway. But I think we're going to see the Caesars come out to punt.
Yeah, it looks like the punting team's coming out now.
Yeah, it looks like Will Morgan, the punter who was hurt on the previous punt, is coming back out. So good to see he's all right. Got Sosu again at the bottom of your screen, receiver and special teams player, which is what you love to see. A lot of people don't like playing special teams. A lot of running around and trying to make a tackle, particularly for a receiver. But it's good to see. Pressure from the Vikings, not as much as last time. The ball is really high, and I think it went out of bounds first.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it went out of bounds.
If it went out of bounds, we are looking at a beautiful bit of work.
So we're gonna. I'm about to say that's roughly where I would have spotted that based on what I saw. Out of bounds at the 11-yard line ish, according to the officials.
Will's a good punter and a good kicker, so it's nice. Obviously he had the miss, but then he had a blocked punt, which was really due to protection. And then he got hurt, which was also due to protection. Notice no motions on that last punt. They kept everyone in place for the blocking.
So Nottingham Caesars trail by a point. The Vikings are out on offense here at the David Ross Sports Village. You can see all the green and gold of the University of Nottingham out all over the cage around the side of the field. So Caesars still staying in that 3-4.
Wide.
Yeah, but Paquetti in the empty, this close to his backfield, when he's had issues with the snaps, Piketty, quick ball out, and it's just through the hands there. Number 14, Ross Conley, couldn't bring in the high ball, and it was almost close to a tip drill there for the DB.
Yeah, going 5 wide in the shadow of your own end zone is it's a risk, but it does give you all those passing options if you can get it. I wonder what we're going to see next.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we don't have a game clock, so we don't quite know how long's left. Me and Sean have become relatively adept at guessing what the game clock's going to be by how long the half's been going. So I reckon we've probably got about 5 minutes to go here.
Yeah, we're
back in the 5 wide.
Yeah, an hour of real time. So we've probably got about 5 minutes left. So I wonder whether the Vikings just want to try and hold the ball here. Piketty's going to drift back, go to his left. He's got a lot of space if he wants to just tuck it and run. And tuck it and run he will. I think Matt Wilson's going to be happy that he didn't make contact with the receiver there, otherwise it would have been a crap back. But almost taking out one of the Caesars D linemen. That's the one we don't have a name for, number 90.
And the first down with that run as well, he really is a threat with his legs.
He is, and he's been a threat with his legs all winter with the Durham Saints as well. He was able to carry that offense to a 5-win season in the regular season. Their biggest win being that 19-12 win over Nottingham Gold back in February. So he's been a really good receiver. Sticking in the empty though, this is surprising. I've not often seen teams go this empty. Quick rocket screen out to the side. The receiver's going to grab hold of it, taken down. Gain of 9 there. I think that's Ross Conley. It is Ross Conley, number 14. Thank you, Newcastle, for sticking with the same personnel so I can work out roughly who it's going to be.
Now, in going empty and getting the ball out quick does solve the bigger issue that we've had all day, which is that protection pressure. You can just get the ball out quickly, and it's forced the Nottingham DBs and linebackers to play a little bit more reserved.
Yeah, definitely. And Nottingham also aren't able to bring quite as much pressure as happily as they'd want to without basically going into a zero protection very early. But there we are. Islam is back in the backfield, in the pistol here as well.
Perfectly even formation. Nightmare for a defense to decide its strength.
So it looks like Piketty will drop back. The ball is thrown down the sideline, and that is caught down the sideline. I think it's Ross Conley again, who's really having himself a game at the moment. Piketty to Conley deep down the sideline. That's been a great play for them.
Now, it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. If you're Nottingham, are you not thinking of ways you can try and contain him?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because Wilson's a very good receiver. Conley's clearly a very good receiver. You've got to deal with people like Islam in the backfield as well. So there's a lot of threats to try and deal with here. And it's, okay, do you throw a safety over the top of Conley, but then you know that Wilson's going to be in a single coverage? Or do you bring someone down in the box to try and help out with Islam in the run game? It is going to be Piketty again, drop back, 6-man protection, directing traffic before he steps up to take it forward.
Oh.
And he's going to be hit late.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, he was... Oh, okay, we're gonna let this one play out. Now, the hit was late. However, he'd only just stepped out of bounds. This is as a defensive player, this is where you kind of have difficulties because he stepped out of bounds, but he stopped still. But there's no guarantee. You don't quite know whether he's in bounds, out of bounds. So he's been hit hard. Newcastle have then retaliated, and there's been some, let's call it fisticuffs. Couple of handbags.
Retaliating is the dumbest thing you could do here because it's clearly going to be a call against the defense. If you retaliate enough, they'll make it offsetting. Now, I don't think that's what happened. Oh, yeah, they did. So they're pointing in both directions. So now instead of a free 15 yards, it'll be a do-over.
Yeah, so we're gonna wait to see because obviously Jed threw his hat as well. So clearly he's called multiple flags on the play. I love the fact that they don't carry multiple flags. It's the hat. That's the second one. So let's have a zoom in on Jed and we'll try and work out what's gone on. So personal foul, unnecessary roughness. We're going to presume that's number 22, Andrew Wilkins. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct against somebody from Newcastle. Those penalties offset. And he's saying that if you get 2 unsportsmanlike conducts, you will be ejected. So somebody is now effectively on a yellow card here. Obviously, we don't have the number.
And that means that because they retaliated, they're actually worse off than Nottingham. Because technically, you can have you shouldn't, but you could have 5 unnecessary roughness penalties. You can't have 5 unsportsmanlike conduct on the same guy. So really, you're worse off because you retaliated.
Yeah, it's very easy for us in the booth to remember that. It's very difficult when you're in that sort of
That's fair.
emotional
That's a
state
fair
where
point.
you
Look
just
how-
saw your QB get blattered.
Simon, look
I-
how wide they are on this empty. Sorry to cut you off there.
I know.
It's just the formation's really, really quite stretched here.
It is. It's going to make whoever is there at safety, that left-hand safety, is going to have to do a lot of work covering ground. Henry Scanlon, number 7 there, you see as the off-ball linebacker at the bottom of the screen. He's going to have to do some work as well. It is going to be a deep throw to the end zone. It is going to be caught. It's going to be dropped. Andy Wilson, what a play to get that out of Matt Wilson's hands.
Oh, it was looking very bad for Nottingham for a sec. It was looking very bad for Nottingham there for a second, but that was you can almost hear the collective sigh of relief on the Nottingham sideline here inside the building over the boxing match.
And that's why you keep playing through these throws. It's easy to think you got beat, but if you fight through with the hands, you can make plays like that.
Indeed.
Yeah, so Andy Wilson breaking up the pass intended for Matt Wilson. Here we go. 3rd down. It's going to be interesting to see what the Vikings do here. This is the situation they were in where they ended up in 4th down and 4 earlier and then decided to punt it away. 3rd down and 4 here. Are we going to see an Islam run up the middle? I'm not expecting it, and we don't get it. Piketty, drop back, throws on a rope. That's going to be Matt Wilson going to be taken down, but how many yards did he get? Enough for the 1st down. And it's really going to be interesting here. Andy Wilson is struggling against Matt Wilson as it's really, when they've both got the same surname, it's really difficult to do because I keep forgetting which one I'm referring to. Matt Wilson's doing a really good job, and they're doing a lot of this sort of shorter, so the hitches, the quick out. And Piketty's got the arm that he can throw that with relative velocity to get that to the sideline on a quick break.
Yeah, his short and medium delivery has looked absolutely crisp from the booth. They seem to be really rolling with some pace here.
Yeah, Scott Kersey in the comments. People don't realise how fast and strong Conley is. I think the Caesars are starting to as well, on top of the threat of Matt Wilson.
If they didn't realise before, they do now.
Yeah, roll out from Piketty. He's getting chased down by the defender. Throws it back across the defence, and that's Henry Scanlon with the interception. You do not want to do that. And the trip by number 73, and I mean trip, he tripped him up there. Everyone saw that, but the officials, it seems. But it looks like Henry Scanlon's going to come down with the interception. That looks like that. Everyone sees the highlight of Brett Favre right at the tail end of his career. Roll out to the right, throw back left across the defense, and that is why you never throw back across the defense. And we talked about the difference in the quarterbacks earlier. Piketty is more of this gunslinger. He will try and make those throws, but then you have to live with these issues that come with it. McGovern wouldn't try and make that throw, I don't think. That's, like you said, it's for what's between his ears. That's why you have him at quarterback. But then, sometimes you don't get those deep shots as well.
No, and it's not a case of you need a quarterback for your offense. It's how do you build around a QB? How do you give him those shots?
We've got an offside here, and again, they're going to call unabated to the quarterback. Sam Fraser doing his best cut block that he could.
That was almost poetic dancing, I feel.
Well, it's when Robert Brumpton there, number 56, it's going to be a difficult one to block him coming through at speed, but the Caesars get a free 5 yards. That you would have think they'd want the free play. The officials have been very, very quick on the whistle here with the unabated to the quarterback, which, I mean, you can't really mind. It's player safety at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's a long season, so trying to avoid the bigger injuries, the bigger hits at the start of the year, I've got no issue with it.
No, not at all. So McGovern, 1st and 5 now from about the 20-yard line. There's a counter. Sam Fraser's got a lot of room, as it sounded like a hyena joined us in the booth.
I'm sorry. I just love GT so much. I want to marry it. It's just such a good play.
For anyone who didn't know, Sean played offensive line. 1st down incoming here for the season. You could hear it all chuckling in the booth.
From all the way up here, that was going to be a big play within about half a second. They had 2 free blockers out. It was so good.
It was some lovely. So we've seen a few times in pass protection that the Nottingham Caesars haven't been as crisp as you want, but that GT counter did look quite nice.
I think it was GT. I don't think they had a half pump back in.
No, it was GT counter. For anyone who's confused by the term, thank you, Jed, for making this clear. The 2-minute warning, folks. I believe the Newcastle Vikings have 3 timeouts. The Nottingham Caesars have 2 timeouts because they called one earlier in the game. I did ask Jed to make that nice and clear for me because I often forget quite how many timeouts they've had each. we don't have a full crew trying to keep count of all the different things for us. Snap back, and look what it is again. GT counter, Sam Fraser with room to run, and the ball, it looks like the ball was out, and they are going to call it a Vikings ball. So just after the 2-minute warning, and with 3 timeouts, the Vikings will take over. We do have an injury down on the field. That looks like Connor Joyce, number 21, as we'll just get the camera to pan away for the moment.
No, and it was good blocking upfield. It was a good route ran, but unfortunately, you've got to secure that ball through the contact at the end.
It was Connor Joyce who popped it out as well. And I think he's just got injured in the collision. And we're just going to say, Borges Baptista, attempted front flips from a defensive lineman never really end well, do they?
I got so excited for GT counter, and then they flew too close to the sun.
So there we are. If anybody wants any wise advice, don't listen to what Sean does. So the Vikings will have 45 yards to go down the field. So they are
just shy of 2 minutes to do it as well.
Exactly. They'll have 1:50, I would presume. 3 timeouts. So effectively, at the moment, the clock's not an issue.
Yeah, you don't need to rush here, but you do want to be aware that if you're not gonna get that shot, don't leave much time on the clock for Nottingham to come back.
And that's it, isn't it? You've got to try and play the balanced game of, okay, well, how quickly do we want to try and get down the field? And well, you want to get down the field, but if we don't, how little time can we leave for them? Because it's always tricky when you go, okay, we'll go 3 passes, which is particularly what they've been doing with Piketty here. You know, I genuinely can't remember the last time we saw Islam take the ball on a strict handoff. I think it was probably in the first quarter.
No, they are using their QB in the run game. Not so much the designed runs that we've seen, but definitely that 5 wide, get people out in space and find a gap.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. We're trying to wait and see what the officials are doing here. So if any of you can hear the boxing announcer, I do apologise. He's full boxing announcer. He's in a suit and tie as well. Is he in a waistcoat as well?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah,
he is. He's in a full waistcoat. And I'll tell you what, it is warm down there. That's probably why the jacket's come off. Here we are, Piketty to lead the offense out onto the field. Doubles offense here for the Vikings. Islam in the backfield, but he's only been used as a pass protector recently.
I don't think we've seen him run it out of pistol yet, but...
No, I'm sure they've got that in the playbook, though. It's just not going to be called here. Andrew Wilkins chopped at the knees as he came through. Big crackback block throw, and there's a deep pass there to Hewitt, as it's going to be taken down, and there is a flag that is going to be called for the crackback block.
Can you explain what that is? Because in Brickball, that gets confused a lot.
It does get confused a lot, to the point that I've probably got it wrong as well. So, to me, the offensive lineman with forcible contact came back towards his own end zone, which you're not allowed to do. Now, you'll see a lot of coaches teach what's called the flyby. So, you'll run up towards them. If Sean can just pull the camera down a tiny bit. Yeah, it looks like I can't remember what the signal for crackback is. And
it's not one you see too often.
No. And also, the referee said, quotes, "Do you know all the signals?" to me earlier, to which I went, yes, I've played this game a while. I've probably seen them all.
Yeah. To be fair, you did send me a PDF with them, and it was 2 pages full.
You should see the refs exam. Oh my goodness, it's unreal how much these people have to know.
Yeah, I have actually seen a rough copy of one of them once, and it was awful.
So big thanks to the Zebras out there today for as much as they do get wrong, they are an appreciated part of the sport.
So that offensive lineman, he came back, forcible contact towards his own end zone. Normally you teach the flyby, so you turn your back and put your arms up, so that can't be called. Andrew Wilkins on the pressure again. Piketty, heavy pressure, throws it up, manages to get that back past the line of scrimmage, just manages to avoid the intentional grounding penalty, which I think Grant Lawless is calling for, but he should know that he's not going to get.
Now, Lloyd, you've called a lot of offense over the years, coached a lot of offense. When you have a big play, they did throw the flag, by the way, Simon. When you get a big play like that called back because of a block, what do you say to your O-line?
Usually not very polite words I can't repeat on this broadcast, unfortunately.
It's not fit for broadcast usually.
Yeah. When we talked about the penalty earlier, sometimes as an O-line coach, if your tackle's gone to protect your QB, you almost let that go as part of the mentality of playing the O-line, but these sort of crackback blocks, you have to have stern words with the player about what their actions actually mean for the team.
So I think Piketty has been done very, very dirty here. I think he got that past the line of scrimmage, and I think he was outside the pocket. The only thing they're going to call is no receiver in the area.
I don't think that was.
I don't think there was, but I didn't think that mattered if you got it past the line of scrimmage. So that is what's called intentional grounding. So the idea is that you can't just throw the ball away willy-nilly to get yourself out of a sack. So what happens here is that it's not only from where the quarterback threw the ball, but it's also a loss of down. So it's effectively a sack by another name. So we are now 2nd and, 36?
It's a good bus journey. That is what it
Apparently
is.
the kids say it's an Uber now.
Okay.
It was always,
My favourite was third in the megabus.
3rd in the megabus. That's outstanding. 4-man pressure here for the Caesars as Matt Wilson, he came on the slant and Piketty was not looking there for it. He almost threw it. He threw it like a slant, but
I think might have been a confusion about where they were breaking that slant, whether it was a slant or a post. He seemed to want to draw it a bit more inside as if he was going 10 and in instead of the 5 and in.
yeah, interesting one there. It's always difficult to tell when you have those kind of miscommunications. It's very clear that Piketty wanted to go straight to Wilson, and he was open. Andy Wilson's having to play a lot of off coverage here. Number 38 for the Caesars, you see just above the scorebug. And he's playing a lot of off coverage to deal with Matt Wilson there, number 7, who's really sticking to that side. But Piketty here on 3rd and long. You've got to kind of expect this to be a pass, although if you run it, you could make the Caesars burn a timeout. But Piketty is going to, it looks like he's going to scramble. No, he's going to throw the ball up, and it's going to be tipped off the hands there. I mean, I don't think Ross Conley was going to come down with it anyway, because I think he was basically out of bounds.
We do have a referee without a hat, but that might have been just the.
I think that was because Conley stepped out of bounds and then wouldn't be allowed to take possession of it. But this is going to be 4th and exceptionally long. Now, do you think they'll go for it here, Lloyd?
I think you'd punt here. I think you'd be very sensible. It's 4th and exceptional.
Yeah. So what's interesting though is incomplete pass, intentional grounding, incomplete pass, no timeouts used by the Caesars. They're still going to have 2. Very little time actually used by Newcastle. And that's something we talked about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How much time do you leave the Caesars? They probably left them about 1 minute and 10.
Yeah, they've got enough time to work down, depending on where this punt ends up landing. If you get a decent return on this.
And I think that punt has been shanked and shanked hard. So the official is going to make up a place, and we will see where that place is.
It's looking like the 30 going in.
Inside the 30,
I was feeling
beyond the 30.
Oh, it's going back.
He's going back further. So 33 yards here to pay dirt for the Caesars.
2 timeouts and possibly over 1 minute left. It's unfortunate for the Vikings. You could have mixed in a run or 2 there, but we haven't seen much of their running game yet.
Well, and the thing is, the running game looked good earlier in the game with Islam. They're just going with Piketty. Sam Fraser's very open out. Oh, it's not Sam Fraser. It's number 20, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's Niall Simpson there, the Loughborough running back, who was open out the backfield. I think it's the first time we've seen him in action today. And it's going to be a pickup and, more importantly, out of bounds.
Yeah, very smart from the kid there to get himself out of bounds, not try and fight for an extra yard. Instead, stop the clock so that you can live another down.
Good to see Niall here. He's very familiar with this pitch. He won the Division 1 ball game MVP here a couple years ago.
He did indeed. Niall's a really good running back as well. Very deep running back room here. Sam Fraser, Wellington Taffray, Niall Simpson as running backs. Liam going to look deep, and that is going to be incomplete there. That's Kingsley Eke there, who was the intended receiver, who somehow ended up on his back before the ball reached him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he lost his foot in there at all. Was there a bit of contact?
Caught with each other, yeah.
Yeah, potentially. I think he trips over as he stops, because I think the ball was thrown a touch short, and so didn't quite manage to bring it in. But there we are, 3rd down incoming. Going to be interesting to see what the Caesars do here. It will be a pass. It's going to be 2. That looks like Sosu again. Sosu, who must have had 7 receptions so far today. Forward progress will be stopped. But will the Caesars hurry up to the line here? You would think they will, although
I think they'll call the timeout.
I've about to say a timeout taken by the Caesars, so they have 1 remaining. What's interesting is they're now in field goal range.
Yeah, they can go ahead to the break up if they get that field goal in. I think Grant Lawless is going to roll the dice. He's going to play right to the end to try and get that touchdown.
Oh, he 100% will be going for that touchdown. I think even if they get to 4th and 1, 4th and 2, there's a chance he'll go, no, we'll leave the field goal. We'll have a go at the touchdown. So, quick timeout here, only to stop the clock. Will be interesting to see. Obviously, no game clock really does hurt us at this point. We have had times where we've actually tried to time it ourselves, and it's really difficult. Snap back, McGovern looks across the middle, and it's tipped up, and it's that big tip up that's helped him, but it's going to be intercepted, and it's going to be brought down there. And is that number 11, Antonio Quas? It might have been, or Victor Quas. Yes, it was there, bringing that down. And it was a huge tip up by the DB that managed to keep that ball in the air. And that's really unfortunate there. That is almost heartbreaking for the Caesars, because you're down a point. You're thinking, okay, we've got a chance to go into half-time in the lead, even with a field goal. You might have missed the PAT earlier, but off the upright, you've got a reasonable shot here. Suddenly, the Vikings have still got 3 timeouts and have shown the ability to go deep.
Yeah, sometimes you roll the dice, sometimes you get snake eyes. You've really got to be... We've complimented Liam earlier, saying it's between his head. That's not a throw you want to be making, really. You want to be pushing it a lot into a lot cleaner a hole.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was just a touch behind him and left the DB the ability to bat it back up. But you see real off coverage here from the Caesars. Snap back. Piketty's going to look to Wilson, and he's going to be incomplete. But that's what they've been really good at today. You saw Wilson turn around. It's almost like a very shallow comeback because he turns to the outside of the field rather than the inside as he would do on a hitch. And Andy Wilson's really been struggling, but he's having to play that off coverage because he knows that Matt Wilson can go over the top.
Yeah, he's giving him them close games. He's giving him them short yards to avoid that deeper thing, those deeper plays. And I didn't see on that play, did he have a safety protection over the top of him or not? Are they leaving him on an island, or is he getting that bracket support?
So it looks like Alex Cooper, number 9, a new signing for the Caesars, is in at safety there. And I'm trying to check, is that number 32, Harry Johnson, in the other safety? He's been playing for the Caesars now for a couple of years. It is Piketty, it is to Matt Wilson, and it is bobbled again. So, honestly, it's really difficult to track time right now because this could be about 45 seconds left, in which case the third down becomes interesting.
Or it could be 7 seconds.
It could be 7 seconds, in which case you just try and throw a Hail Mary.
If it makes you feel any better, Simon, try to talk over this announcer. Sometimes even the players don't know. I know of a quarterback, they were in a game and they asked the ref how much time is left. The ref said under a minute. Turns out it was like 7 seconds. Just very different.
That's very different.
It's true, but it's only technically true. So it's the best type of true.
Technically, it's correct. Piketty in the pistol. Islam is behind him. It's Henry Scanlon coming with the pressure off the edge, and it's Henry Scanlon who nearly wraps Piketty up, and he's going to be taking down the ball. Oh, I thought it was out, but it wasn't. It was just a shadow. So you would think that the Nottingham Caesars are going to take their final time out here.
You would hope so.
You would think, and I'm yet to see a signal to say it's been taken. So either we've really, really misjudged the clock here, or the Vikings might just burn the clock out. I'm not entirely sure.
No, nobody seems in a great hurry to get to the ball. The ball seems to be being picked up. Are we going to get it over the head? Yeah.
We are going to get it over the head. So at half-time, the Newcastle Vikings will go into the locker room, leading 7-6 over the Nottingham Caesars. Lloyd, a really interesting first half there. How would you sum that up?
Exciting, a bit of one-word description. I think, although it's a little bit low scoring on the scoreboard, we have seen flashes. We've seen some really good plays and drives, but we've seen some early season mistakes, some high snaps, some penalties that you just hope in the second half you can really iron out.
Yeah, so join us in probably about 15 minutes for the second half. I will bring you the interview I did with Henry Scanlon pre-game that we didn't quite get time to broadcast. But yes, join us in the second half. Thank you very much for watching so far. Good afternoon, folks. We are back here from the David Ross Sports Village in the heart of Nottingham. The score at half-time is the Nottingham Caesars 6, the Newcastle Vikings 7. The only thing separating them was a doink off the right upright on the missed PAT. Joining me for the second half back in the booth, Lloyd Stone.
Thank you very much.
And from the far distance, Sean Endicott.
How's it going, folks?
We need an American voice to make sure. Remember, all American football streams require an American accent.
The Bucks final had two.
I know. Tell me about it. That's how you know that it was a proper American football stream. It had two American accents.
If you two did a football stream in America, people would instantly think you were some sort of, superstar savants who know the sport, even if you've never played it. Just because the accent adds authority.
So, first half, really interesting. Caesars went out opening into the lead on their second play from offense. It was a 60-yard dump-off pass. Well, it was a dump-off pass, then taken 60 yards by Sam Fraser in for the touchdown. Newcastle, I think, have looked like the better team offensively, and I think you'd probably agree with that, Lloyd, haven't you?
Yeah, they have had more consistent drives. They've had the 2 interceptions, almost heartbreakers, one very close to the end zone. But they have shown more of just getting the 4 or 5 yards where it's there. Those 5 and 6 yard short patterns, QB runs that have really kept them on schedule.
Yeah, they have. Now, what we didn't manage to get pre-game for you was I went and had a chat with number 7, Henry Scanlon, one of the captains for the Nottingham Caesars. Here's what he had to say about the game before it happened. I am here on the field pre-game with Henry Scanlon, linebacker for the Nottingham Caesars. Henry, how do you feel the pre-season's gone so far?
Well, Simon, I think we've been pretty good. We've had a good turnout through pre-season. It's been a lot better than it has been in previous years. The intensity's really sort of ramped up a bit recently. Had 2 good scrimmages against Shropshire and then against Yorkshire, who we played in the promotion game last year. So good prep for today's game, which we're excited for.
And speaking of today's game, who should we be looking out for on defence?
Look out for John Winter, Sam Pearson, Alex Cooper, new signing, Bismarck Yeboah, come over from Italy last year. There's sort of some standout names.
Yeah, you got big signings on the defence, haven't you? And lastly, Newcastle Vikings, they've signed Donovan Paquette, the quarterback for the Durham Saints this last Bucks season. How do you think you're going to play? You've obviously seen him as part of the Nottingham coaching staff. How do you think you're going to fare?
Well, it's going to be a challenge for our guys. I mean, we've said it, we've known this for a few weeks. I know they announced it yesterday, but we've known it for a few weeks that we're going to be playing against him. It's a case of just prepping well and knowing what we're going to do. In terms of our guys, it's probably first time for a few guys playing against an American quarterback, and just knowing that the access areas with their arms is just a bit further down the field and it's going to come a bit quicker, and just adjusting to that. And he's a threat as a runner, as we know from commentating the games together, Simon, that he is a threat of a runner on this sort of read option world. So he's taking care of that and playing disciplined defence.
All right, thank you very much, Henry. Best of luck in the game today.
Cheers, thank you.
So there we had Henry Scanlon pre-game, just having a chat regarding what he thought. I mean, he highlighted a couple of players we saw in the first half. Sam Pearson, Alex Cooper, number 21 and number 9 there for the Caesars. Obviously, Henry Scanlon playing well himself. What do you think defensively needs to change here for the Caesars?
So we've seen a couple of pressure packages. We've seen them get to the quarterback, create some confusion there, and even leading to an interception earlier. What we need to see is a bit more protection over the top, a little bit more taking those slant routes that they're getting away with and cutting them short.
Yeah, I think really the biggest thing for me is how do you stop, firstly, Matt Wilson, number 7. I think he's been the danger man, really. Ross Conley's had a really good game, number 14 there for the Vikings. But it's what can you do about Matt Wilson? And Andy Wilson has been matched up against him basically all day. And he's had a bit of difficulty. Matt Wilson's been able to get to the sideline, do these quick out routes, do very well. But for the second half, we are underway here as we wait for the camera to pan round as... I'm just waiting to see whether that did go out the back of the end zone. I can't see a flag, so I'm going to presume that will have been a touchback by the Vikings.
Yeah, going for a 4 on one side, 6 on the other side, and then uniquely kicking it to the short side. Schematically, gives you a little bit less to tackle to, but we'll see what they come out with later.
Yes, I mean, special teams has really come along in the last sort of 5 years or so. I remember playing back in the day when kickoffs were, you were 5 either side of the ball, you kicked down the middle of the field, you maybe kicked it left or right. Whereas now we see these weird stack formations and you never quite know what's going on. Speaking of strange formations, gun split in the backfield here. Liam McGovern being flanked either side by Sam Fraser and Wellington Taffray. So we're going to see what happens here. Sosu in the motion, and Sosu has gone for the one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. I think Sosu got a full house there on the false start.
It's always amazing when someone does a false start that not outrageous, but they're so far down the field and then they look around like, why are you guys not moving?
So Sosu there is going to cost the Caesars 5. Yeah, he was 5 yards down the field, turned back round looking for it on what looked like a post route, and then suddenly he goes, no one else has moved yet.
That's what you meant on 2.
Oh, is that what on 2 meant? So here we are. Sosu left at the top of the screen. He's not going to be moving this time. It will be Ben Harrison, who I'm not even sure if he's recorded. No, he has recorded 1 reception so far this game. The Division 1 MVP from last year. As it's a swing out to Sam Fraser. Makes 1 miss, makes 2 miss, makes 3 miss. And he's going to be dragged forward. A gain of 7 there from Sam Fraser.
No, really good to keep working forward. That should have been blown up a long time ago, but getting people behind it.
Yeah, it looked like Taylor Walton there, number 2, struggled to make the initial tackle. And then a sort of a cadre of Vikings there coming in. That's number 90, Oscar Bosek, who somebody did ask in the comments earlier who number 90 was. So for you who was asking, it's Oscar Bosek. We aim to please in the comments sometimes. So the Caesars sticking with this split gun formation. It's an interesting formation here. Oliver Tassin in tight at the top of the screen. And it's going to be back out to Fraser again, who isn't going to make 2 miss this time. He's going to get folded after a gain of about 1 yard. And that's now twice in 2 plays as we've got a Viking player down holding his knee or his ankle, potentially his lower leg. I couldn't quite work out where he was going for. Twice in 2 plays now we see that go to Sam Fraser on a wheel route.
Yeah, they've gone to the split backs, having them both either side and getting them both to attack those wheel flat sort of zone, getting them out in space. Potentially trying to push the defenders out of the box a little bit more so they can create that inside running game again. We'll have to see what they try and build off from that.
Yeah, we're just going to wait and check how this Vikings player is doing. Sean, is that him being walked off the sideline?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he looks like he's up and okay. You see, I thought I said number 80, but I don't have a number 80, so potentially we don't know who you are, I'm afraid.
If there is any players of other Premiership opponents, please get onto your coaches and general managers to send the rosters early.
With credit to Newcastle, I got sent this roster at 5:20 this morning. It only had 7 numbers on it, so I had to fill the rest in on the sideline. Split back again, double 2 receivers onto the short side as McGovern is going to look at that short side and it's going to be dropped. Oh, he's wearing 91. We don't know who you are, but you had a potential walk-in pick 6, jumped the route perfectly. And there we go. The Caesars' first set of downs is going to end in a 3 and out here. 4th down incoming as we see the punt team come out.
Not what you want from Nottingham, but incredibly tight from the Vikings. 91 read that beautifully. Still confuses me seeing a 91 out there. I feel like there's a nose tackle dropping into coverage.
He had the hands of a 91 there.
It's definitely a 91 as well. I was wondering if it was 51 because we haven't called 51's name yet. But no, it's definitely a 91. So here we are. Will Morgan set to punt. There's been issues with the punt protection, although it seems that the Cortland Vikings napping, though 18 did manage to get through. And that's going to be brought in by Taylor Walton, who appears he may have tried to call for a fair catch.
Yeah, but they can't call fair catch interference if you dodge him.
Yeah, I think
you have to let him hit you.
I think that's the thing. I think Taylor Walton's asking for a fair catch interference, and he's not going to get it. But that's a big punt there. So the Vikings will be taking over from their own 19-yard line. It's number 18, Akanegbu, on the pressure every time on the punt. And he's a really tall bloke as well. You can see him get his arms up, and he's got a big range to try and block those punts.
Yeah, I don't know what Nottingham's got in their long trick of punts, but something that gives a bit more protection towards his side is surely needed.
So number 91 apparently is Connor Jobe. Thank you, Scott Kersey, for that one. Otherwise, we'd been going through. He's literally not on my roster at all. So who knows? Snap back, and Islam gets the ball for the first time in a long time. And look at that, 5 yards. Easy pick up there for Islam. Hard running, but it's going to be a gain of 5. Second down, incoming.
And what can you draw up better for that first play off the break? Just simple, head downfield, stay on target.
Yeah, very much so. And it's going to be interesting because we talked about it earlier. The Vikings' offensive line was really making holes for the running game for Islam and for Piketty when he wanted to run as well. And then suddenly they just went away from it and passed basically every single play. Back into the pistol here. Piketty, Islam behind him. Looked like Conley and Hewitt to the bottom of your screen. It is going to be Islam, and it's going to be a much less successful run this time as Sam Pearson throws off Theo Hewitt there as he was trying to block him.
Now, another good on-schedule run. Looks like maybe a yard or so gain there. Maybe just shy.
Yeah, I think we're looking 3rd and 3 here. Bobby Okafor there, number 92 in the black helmet. You can see on the defensive line was the first one really to make contact there before it was brought in to be sort of cleaned up. So, Piketty has not yet thrown the ball.
And
2 runs.
Back in the split even formation as well. It's hard for the Nottingham defence to pick a strength.
And there's the first down.
Phenomenal work from the centre there to just lean back with the football and fall over.
And I also enjoy the right tackle there. That looks like, it's Borodogman, long time player, played at Newcastle as well. Just do the old flop down to the floor when you can see the player jump off in front of you.
It's a 5-yard flop. It's always worth it.
So that's a first down now for the Vikings. So Piketty, again, yet to throw. I thought we were going to see it there, but potentially not. But again, look at the size of the Vikings offensive line. And it's just against 3 defensive linemen for the Caesars. They're yet to move to a 4-man line, but this fluid defense really makes it easy to change for them.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit more pressure here. Screen out.
Yeah, that's Ross Conley taking the screen there. Sam Pearson, number 21, giving chase. And Andy Wilson, number 38, helping force that ball out. So, second time we've seen a screen now. Both times they've worked to pretty good effect. The first one went for 9 yards. That one going for 4.5, 5 yards, we would say. Can we see maybe a bit more of this? Newcastle, they've had a couple of interceptions. They've not had perfect ball security. It's a nice way. It's almost like an extension of that running game, really, is that screen game. And again, we could see it to the bottom here. This is the formation they ran that rocket screen out first time. Ross Conley to the bottom of your screen. Potential here for a screen down there. And it is a screen down there to Conley, and he's dropped it straight through the hands. That looked like Bismarck Yeboah had a potential to get a hand on it. He came back to go get the ball. I love it as a commentator when you go, oh, look, you could have a screen to the bottom there, and then they run it. Someone get me in as defensive coordinator.
No, and I think what you said there about the screen game being an extension of your own game, it's so true. You want those high completion passes. You want those runs that keep you on schedule and get you into a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, definitely. So this is going to be 3rd and 6. Very much not out of the range for Piketty here, or for Islam if they wanted to go with that. There's only 5 in the box here for the Caesars. You've got the overhang of Andrew Wilkins at the top of your screen, creeping down from the safeties. It's such a fluid defense. It's very rare you see this many people moving pre-snap. And Andrew Wilkins is going to come with the pressure. It's going to be Okafor trying to chase down Piketty. What can Piketty do? He's going to fire it down the field. I think he threw it at the feet of Ross Conley, number 14, as Yeboah was in coverage there. And it's going to bring up a 4th down.
Fantastic flush defense to just push him out to the side, remove those options across the field. We've already seen that he will take a back shot across the body throw, but it's dangerous. That time pushed out safely.
Yeah, definitely. And it was great chase by Okafor as well. Just keep moving him to the sideline, Don't let Piketty have that cutback. It's really difficult when you've got such a dynamic quarterback to not let him cut back to the inside. But Okafor did a really good job there. As we see, that is Ross Conley, number 14, the punter, isn't it? Yeah. So not a lot of pressure. Only 4 up on the line as we now see 5 and 6 line up. 7 come in the end. And it's a deep kick, and it's going to be muffed on. It's going to have to be dived on, and it's just about going to get that. Yeah, that was Kingsley Eke there, number 1, who muffed the punt return. Just about managed to dive on it before I think Taylor Walton would get there.
Smart play to just jump on the ball. You see far too many people try and pick it up. not get it secured and it comes back out and you're just making the situation worse.
So, doing well here at the moment are the Vikings. Obviously, not what they would have wanted on that set of downs, but a decent punt, and the Caesars not in prime field position here.
Caesars are just going to be hoping to avoid the same 3 and out as before, get themselves momentum, get themselves back in this game in a competitive manner.
I wonder whether Grant Lawless, as offensive coordinator, is trying something different here with this split back, as we're going to see a handoff to Sam Fraser, take that up the middle. That's some hard running there from Sam Fraser. He's not the biggest running back in the world. If you really wanted a power back, you're looking at Welly T there as the power back for the Caesars. And he was lead blocking there for him as well. So a couple of yards picked up there, but Sam Fraser really trying to grind out the hard yards as well as take those big plays today.
Yeah, and Nottingham do have a back for every play almost, it seems. They can bring somebody on who if they want a bit more size, or if they want somebody who's a bit better in between the tackles.
We're yet to see the emergence of fullback Chris Baby, number 25, who's also a power lifter in the off-season. Might be needed, but Sam Fraser's going to work it round to the outside. And Welly T just not quite able to seal the block in there. I can't quite work out who he's trying to block. May have been number 11. That may have been Gomez, but I'm not entirely sure.
I know Baby will be ruining at the sound of him being called a fullback. He is a running back in his mind, and he does play he does play as if he wants to be a strong running back.
Chris Baby is the definition of a north-south running back. I would love to see Chris Baby try and run stretch. Let's put it that way. So staying in the split back here, but it's going to be 3rd and 4. That looks like Harrison and Oliver Tassin to the bottom of the screen. To the top of the screen, I have no idea who that is. But it's going to be split back. It's going to be thrown out. Sam Fraser's got a lot of work to do here. And Sam Fraser's going to do that work again.
Oh.
Sam Fraser picking up the yardage there.
Flag.
Oh, we got a flag coming in late. Where is it, Sean? Oh, that's going to be an interesting one. I have absolutely no idea what on earth that flag could be.
No, Emma, the
Look at these
line
guys
judge over
fighting.
there, is throwing some shapes.
Seem that each other.
If Sean could pan to the referee, we might see what it was happening.
Oh, Lloyd, thank you. You've already got the shade of when Sean is not pointing at the official.
I got the white hat on the screen. I'm looking at these guys fighting each other.
It is
Newcastle.
52 is having a very emotional word with his teammate. I don't know if it's a disagreement on where somebody should be, if it's just passion in the moment. You want to see that against the other side, not your teammates, unfortunately.
So let's see what Jed comes with here, because it's going to be interesting. Personal foul against Nottingham. If we have any professional lip readers in the chat, if you could let us know who that was against or what that was for, because
It was off the bottom of the screen as well, so we wouldn't have really seen what happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. It was away from the ball, I think.
okay, very confusing all in all. But that is really going to set the Caesars back. So they're now back to. I mean, I've lost track of the downs. I've lost track of the distance.
It's all just falling to bits, isn't it?
If only we didn't have a lion with an American football hiding the sideline for us. So they're going to be 3rd and 12 here after that, which is... Sure, I'm confused. Personal fouls are generally 15 yards, right?
That's generally our.
So-
It was downfield, spot of the foul.
Spot of the foul, but that would then be past the first down marker.
It must have been downfield when it happened. I don't know.
Who knows?
It's a bit weird.
Confusing. We'll figure it out. Oliver Tassin to the bottom of your screen, and Ben Harrison at the top, and it's going to be thrown. That's not going to be. Yeah, that's not going to be called complete. Even if it was short. Number 17 there, Rob Piggott, on the attempted reception. That would have been his first of the day. So the Caesars coming out as we see fullback Chris Baby running onto the field. Chris Baby wearing number 25, which just doesn't look right. It does not look right. Chris Baby is a defensive lineman through and through.
I had the joy to coach Chris Baby at running back for a bit of a season, and he's an absolute pleasure to be with. He does have the body of a D tackle, and he runs like a D tackle.
I mean, have you seen his powerlifting stats are
incredible,
a bit ridiculous. Every time I see the Lord of the Rings meme that is the bloke just running through the wall just to open the hole up, I send that to him and say, "This is you." So 4th down and 12 coming for the Caesars as Something has happened. Again, this is where the quality of this stream kind of goes downhill a bit. Something has happened. Jed waved his hands and then pointed at Newcastle, but I would be surprised if Newcastle took a timeout here.
No, it might just be establishing what the down distance is, what the time is. Obviously, the guys in the
Procedural nonsense.
yeah.
Here we are, snap back. That's the least pressure that Will Morgan's had all day, and the ball is high, and it is taking a Vikings bounce out of bounds, I think. Oh, no, not quite on the 50. They're going to start in their own territory by a yard.
Would have been a perfect time for a quarter break, Simon.
Would have been a perfect time for a quarter break, Sean.
Can we ring that into Jed, see if we can move that early?
Yeah, just go into the fourth quarter now, Jed. You're fine. So Piketty will be leading his offense back onto the field. And really, it's been Piketty, Wilson and Conley that have been doing the damage all day. I feel like Islam's not had a fair hand here. He's been a really good running back when he's been given the carries.
Yeah, he's been out. He's been getting into space. He's been moving 4 or 5 yards each time. I'd want to see a bit more of that, especially as the game carries on. You want to see about minimising that clock, give Nottingham less opportunities to get back in this game.
Yeah, so going to be an interesting one here, and it is Piketty in the pistol, and it's going to be a handoff to Islam. And John Winter, the big drill sergeant, is going to bring Islam down. So gain of 3 yards there. I remember the first time I ever met John Winter. Turned as he kicks the ball away, turned up, massive drill sergeant's hat on, and then everyone went, he's basically like a drill sergeant.
I remember first time I met him. I don't know what I'd said to him. Clearly upset him. Wanted to fight me. Next session, best mate. Absolutely one of the sweetest guys you can speak to.
Yeah, definitely. So, second down here for Piketty and Islam in the backfield. That's Hewitt and Conley to the bottom of the screen. I'm presuming that's Matt Wilson up to the top of the screen. As it is going to be a rollout. Piketty to his right. Going to try and scramble back inside. Scanlon and Okafor taking him down. Let's say no. It's going to be a quarter yard of gain, as that is Henry Scanlon down on the field. Is he going to hop himself back up? No. Henry Scanlon's down on the field. He looks not too bad at the moment. Yeah, we're going to get the physio run out.
And hopefully he's well. He's going to be a big loss to that Nottingham defence otherwise.
Yeah, he would. Incredibly knowledgeable as defensive players go. He's defensive coordinator of the Nottingham Green University team. Did a really good job there this season. Their first year in Division 1 as defensive coordinator. So it's just going to be seeing what happens here. We're just going to check that he gets up okay. So we're still going to be waiting a little bit. So 7-6. Sorry. I'm gonna come in for one of the comments here. Islam is Mr. Reliable, and definitely proven that so far today. Led Vikings for touchdowns in Division 1 promotion year. Spent a year at East Kilbride Pirates, and now back at the Vikings at the ripe age of 47.
Surely that's
surely. Please tell me that man is not 47.
27 maybe?
Sure. What? We're both so good. Can someone confirm whether he's actually 47, please?
Who?
Islam, the running back, is apparently 47, according to a comment.
Oh my goodness, he should be selling whatever program he's on.
Guy is a testament to modern medicine.
Is he a personal trainer?
So
we're back to the field.
We're about to say we're back to the field now. You can see Newcastle coming back out. Just gonna wait to. I cannot believe if that bloke's 47.
Well, it makes more sense why he's getting less runs. He might need to pop off to the gas and air.
Oh my lord! Most people don't make it to their 30s.
Especially at a position like running back where you are taking those hits.
Yeah, you take a lot of those hits. Very often, and he's running with speed as well.
Yeah.
So time to see what we can do now. Piketty is into the gun. Potentially a pull here from the right guard. No, just a strange stance. Drop back, going deep for Conley, and it is just over the top. It went into Conley's hands. Yeboah again. That's the second time today that he's struggled with it, and now he is sorting his knee pad out, or is just checking he's all right. Oh no, apparently he's 32.
It's a bit different, Simon.
Yeah, I've got to go off the comments. Like, what can I do? If someone tells me, I'm just going to...
That's all. Fake news. Fake news, Simon.
Yeah.
The difference between broadcasters and journalists. You got to fact check.
You've just been pranked by the Prank Patrol. Wow, talk about a throwback.
Are we going to start playing bogeys on the broadcasters?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I think we were all looking at each other going, I don't quite believe that.
I don't believe any 47 playing any position, let alone running back. Like
Kicker?
Maybe.
You do get some O-line
You saw-
sticking the game that long.
Sorry, good job. Say it again for me.
Once again, you do get some O-line that stays to some ripe old ages sometimes.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, Will got hit pretty hard earlier. If you're 47 and you take that hit, you're probably not going to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? Will's probably going to be fine. I mean, I hope he's okay. He's punted since. But, if you're 47 years old, you get hit when you're midair, forget about it. I mean, you're going to be out for a couple days.
Oh, dear. This is when this broadcast in the mid-third quarter just starts to sort of devolve into some chaos.
You've got to fill the noise with something where you've got these long procedural refereeing moments.
Yeah, there's always some stuff to fill the air. It's very difficult sometimes. Sorry, Sean's just teaching someone else how to do the cameras as well, just in case it's necessary. You're fine, Sean. Don't worry.
I'm going to film my game.
Oh, well, there we are. There you are. Okay, Vikings have broken the huddle and they're finally going to come back. Although it is going to be Conley to punt this ball away, 4th down. So they only gained 3 yards out of all of that. And frankly, we all got distracted by the idea that a running back might be 47 years old. So
it's far more interesting.
Everybody put their professional broadcasting hat back on.
Yeah. So time to punt away from what is almost a 47 on this field. Conley, snap back. There's some pressure, but it's not going to get there. The punt is away. It's end over end. He's going to try and take a bounce. And number 28 there, the Vikings couldn't quite get it in. That's Connor Jobert. No, it's not Connor Jobert. He's wearing 91. Who's 28? I don't know. I was told Connor Jobert was wearing 91 by a comment earlier. But according to that, he's wearing... Oh, no, it could be Adam Newton. Yeah, let's say it's Adam Newton. Adam Newton, the Vikings player there, couldn't quite get to it in time. So that is a touchback. If it goes into the end zone, the Caesars will take over with the ball on their own 20-yard line.
And I think this is the big difference between the Nottingham Caesars last year and the Nottingham Caesars this year. We talked about them scoring a lot at the start of this broadcast. That was because they got some really good field positions. They were starting it in the opposition territory. They've started at the 20 or back quite a lot this game.
Yeah, they've had to go a long way down the field, and they've struggled to put together those consistent set of plays. As McGovern looks out, Sosu on the screen, he's going to have to make a man miss, and he does. He's going to tiptoe up the sideline. Gain of 7 there. I mean, I was just confused by the action in the backfield. It looked like we had one running back go behind, the second running back tried to come in front. Who really knows what was going on there? It was just one of the strangest RPOs I've ever seen.
Yeah, they do have a little bit where they have the RPO where they can pass it or get it into that pitch, but that looked like a missed assignment in the backfield somewhat. Good work on the blocking up front to keep that point of attack.
I'm glad to see the Newcastle fans coming in with the classic Simpsons comments in the comments. Is Ben Harrison going to be given an reception there? No, he's not. That's going to be called incomplete, fairly enough. So just a slight short arm there by Liam McGovern. 3rd down incoming. It's one of these things you don't want to see these 3rd downs come up so quickly. No. Every time they seem to get into 3rd down on their first set. And it's really been a struggle here for the Caesars.
And a quiet day for Ben Harrison, all in all. He's a name that we'd expect to see more from at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you were going to try and scout the Caesars, you've got no film on them other than what you had from last season. Ben Harrison's probably the person you'd want to try and double cover, which is almost what they look like they're doing here. And they've got... Oh, they're going to give McGovern the play this time. He's going to throw it deep, and it is going to be incomplete, aiming for Josh Oluwatassin down there on the left sideline. But I think that should be enough to move the chains with the offside penalty. It's going to be very tight, actually.
Let's see if they need to come out for a measure on this one.
Oh, I've only once seen a measure in an American football game, and it was picked up by a half yard, if that. It was the first time I ever under centre snapped.
Oh, nice.
It was 4th and 4. It was a Q sneak.
But they have got the first down here.
They have indeed got the first down here. Nottingham staying in this split back as we've got the wide view here, 2 to the top of the screen, and that is going to be Ben Harrison there, finally getting the reception he's been waiting a long time for. Gain of about 4 yards.
And it is what you want to see on first down, those 4 and 5 yard completions. Nottingham seem to be breaking the huddle quickly and getting back to the line.
Yeah, I think they go with a bit of tempo. McGovern shouting at his offensive line to get set. So definitely asking for a change of tempo here from the Caesars. Again, 2 backs, 2 to the narrow bit at the top side of the screen. He's going to throw it deep for Sosu, and Sosu's not going to be able to bring it down. Just over his head, but completely uncovered. That, again, Taylor Walton, who's really been a stalwart in coverage today, just blew the coverage there.
Lucky break on the Vikings side for that not to come down in his hands, because it didn't look like there was much to hold him.
No, it would have been a big 25-yard completion there had he managed to come down with it. Sosu's really has struggled with some of the balls that have been outside his frame. He's a tall receiver, but he's just not been able to pull those things out where he's had to reach out for them. You've now got Eke to the top of your screen, Oluwatassin and Harrison are the receivers to the bottom. McGovern steps up in the pocket. He's going to have to try and avoid the sack, but he's not. He's going to be taken down there. Is that... that's number...
We've got some rolling around still.
Number 52, boy. It's Baptista, the defensive lineman, coming in with the sack. So the Caesars will have to punt this ball away again. Will Morgan going to be coming out? He's had a busy day so far.
Yeah, he's going to want an ice bath after this game, I do think. And you got a first down, you got a bit of ball moving, but you need to get better field position in a game this tight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So Will Morgan, he's had a few good punts today, but the protection has been the issue, really. The snap is back, but the protection's good this time. The ball is up. Where is it going? It's gone out of bounds again, and the referee's going to play guess the spot. Are we going here? Are we going here? No, go here. Go here. We're going there. Newcastle to take over from their own 36-yard line as the boxing announcer is really trying to talk over me this time.
Yeah, and again, the Vikings are starting not quite in plus field for, position, but they're starting close to the midpoint line. They've got less worries about what they've got behind them, whereas Nottingham starting on the 20, starting on the 15, even on their own 10 a few drives, they've got less playbook available.
Yeah, Newcastle have definitely had a much better starting field position. You would say that Nottingham have often started on their own 20 or inside. Newcastle, like you said, are starting almost not quite in plus territory, but definitely up towards their own halfway line. Conley on the orbit. It's going to be Paquetti keeping it. Sam Pearson, number 21, goes down. That's a great play there. That's number 26, Sam Fisher, coming in to break that ball up.
Incredible work from one of the Fisher brothers there to just break that pass up and stop it, because I don't think there was anything over the top of it in support.
No, there wasn't. Well, I think you potentially had safety. Harry Johnson was coming down there. And that's the first time that one of those out routes has really been stopped today as well. It's one of the things that we spoke about the Caesars needing to change, making sure that they could stop number 7 there, Matt Wilson, from doing those out routes. It looks like it could have been a change of cornerback here as well. Sam Fisher coming in. It's usually been Andy Wilson making my life difficult to call those plays out. Sam Pearson, though, doing a great job on that last play. As Andrew Wilkins came in with the pressure, couldn't quite get there to make the tackle, but making the tackle there, number 34, Paddy Fisher.
And this is what you want if you're the Nottingham defence. It's fair and long. You've got a chance to really pin your ears back and go after. And hopefully build on this field possession battle.
And that's Ross Conley, number 14, down on the field as we'll just pan away. So he would be, as we've said, big, strong receiver, very quick as well. He would be a big loss here for the Newcastle Vikings. I keep having to not call them Northumberland Vikings. They were for a long time. The Newcastle Vikings, it would be a big loss for them if Conley had to leave the game. Then you'd be down to Matt Wilson as your primary receiving threat. I mean, Theo Hewitt, number 82, had a couple of good receptions. He had the big reception that got called back for the crackback block in the first half. And it's just going to be a case, Ross Conley, he's jogging off the field, he's taking his helmet off. Hopefully it will only be a case of he's got to come off for one play and then he can come back on. But we will have to wait and see.
Seen a bit of balance from the Vikings now. We're seeing a few more runs peppered into these deeper frozen screenplays.
So it would be good to see a little bit more of the running game from them. It's been really good. Trips to the narrow side of the field, top of your screen. It's rare you see that. You often want trips to the wide side as the Caesars bring all of the pressure, and they are going to find a hole. And speak of the man, Theo Hewitt again there with the reception. They managed to find a gap on that narrow side with 4 Caesars defenders over there and 3 Vikings receivers. Not much room to work with, but Paquetti manages to put that ball on the rope and Hewitt brings it in.
Yeah, and that is the problem with bringing that extra pressure, is you do leave yourself less men in coverage to protect against people finding themselves free. And really good on the QB there to just look up, find where he's got a man that's got a bit of space and deliver the ball on time.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look at who the replacement receiver is in with the white helmet, number 81. That's Jonathan Marfsey there, who's going to be the replacement receiver for Ross Conley. Again, heavy pressure brought, basically hitting the line at full speed. It's thrown deep. It's for Matt Wilson. Surely a PI is going to come out, and it is
that's
indeed.
the duster.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if it's a choice between give up the touchdown or give up a 15-yard penalty, you're going to be giving up the 15-yard penalty.
I've had many a coach say to me before, I'd rather give up 15 yards than 6 points.
Yeah.
Like, it's just quick maths.
It's quick maths. So there we are. Newcastle will have the ball potentially on the 25-yard line, depending on the spot. Jed just confirming for us there that it is pass interference on number 26. We don't need to lip read for that one.
No.
Okay.
Emma standing around the 25, probably going to mark the ball down.
Yeah, again, it's Matt Wilson who's the danger man there. Got over the top, and this is the issue. When he's shown that he can burn you over the top, you have to respect that with off coverage because you don't want to give up the touchdown. But then he can nickel and dime you all the way down the field with all the hitches, the comebacks, the quick outs.
And that has been a staple of their offense, and it's got them in good position. They move the ball fluidly.
And it's all because Paquette's got a strong. Here we are. The unknown aged running back, Islam, is going to take that forward. Is he 32? Is he 47? We don't know, but he's number 5 on your screen, taking that for a gain of about 2 yards. The worst bit is, that's one of his worst runs of the day, and he's still got 2 yards.
Still a positive, which is really something that their O-line should be proud of. Even the runs that they're not breaking themselves, they're getting yards.
Yeah, they're doing really well. So it's going to be second down. The Vikings have looked the more ascendant team on offense. Ross Conley still not back on the field. They are running with Marfsey in as the 4th receiver. You've got Hewitt and Matt Wilson, who's now in motion. He's taking the orbit motion that Conley used to do, as it is a fake handoff. Paquetti going down. You've got Sam Pearson trying to chase him down to the sideline. The ball is floated up and floated out of bounds, and a flag.
And dusted down.
Yeah, flag coming in late for. This is when, for people who don't know, I also run YouTube on my laptop to try and use it as a replay tool. I have absolutely no idea what that flag could be on.
I think we're going to get intentional grounding. I don't think there was enough receivers in the vicinity.
It was out of the pocket, and yeah, it's a difficult one because I thought that earlier. So here's Jed. He's saying something, and I don't know. Potentially saying that they've waved the flag off. Yeah, I think he's waved the flag off. Personally, let's see what happens to the spot of the ball. We won't know what happens to the spot of the ball because we're getting a close-up of Jed. I think that spot's still the same.
Yeah, we've not lost a down or anything, I don't think.
Well, they'll have lost it down anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So I think if it's been waved off. So third down incoming. And they're back into this the two tight ends to the left of your screen. The doubles to the bottom. Paquetti going to roll back, being chased out. Not good contain from the Caesars. Can Okafor? Yes, he can. Okafor can hustle Paquetti out of bounds. It's going to be about 4th and 10.
Interesting decision here for the Vikings. Do you just keep playing this third position game? Do you want to try and get a chip field goal in there? Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, 4th and 10 is very long, but I don't know. I mean, Danny Crane, if he is their kicker, was also, I believe, the kicker for the Durham Saints. This is when the comment's going to come and correct me. And it does look like Danny Crane's coming out. He was reasonably good. I had to figure out on the fly what his converted percentage was. I think he was about 80%.
Oh, very
on extra points, and then he was 2 of 2 on field goals. Now I have no idea what length they were from. This is quite a long field goal here, 31-yard line, plus about 9 yards in the back of the end zone. So probably a 40-yard field goal. The snap is down, kick is up, away, and it is good. So there we are. The Newcastle Vikings will take a 10-6 lead here. It was 7-6, and now it's going to be 10-6. So interesting now that the Caesars are going to need a touchdown. To go back up in the lead here.
Yeah, unfortunately they've lost that field goal buffer where a field goal will walk off and win it for you. What we've seen in field position is a special teams play what they need to really get themselves reset.
Yes, potentially, and we can have a look at how they're all lining up. No, we can't. Sean's not got the camera sorted. Sorry, I know Sean is also busy prepping for the Caesars Juniors game later today. So you see the formation for the Caesars here, 5-2-2-2, and we're going to wait to see what the Vikings come out in. You know what? We might even go for a mid-return viewing angle change.
Oh,
I know. The things we can bring you here from the David Ross Sports Village at the University of Nottingham as the ball is kicked off, kicked to the right. Looks like Ben Harrison's going to be the one taking the return, and he is. As we go round, trying to work out which camera's got the best angle. Ben Harrison eventually is going to be taken down there. Looks like it'll be at about the 25-yard line for Ben Harrison.
And some hard running there from Ben Harrison, but you would be hoping if you're Nottingham for a bit more, just get yourself into a bit better field position. So if you do have to play the field position game again, that you can keep driving.
In terms of what time are we on? We don't know. We're in the third quarter. That's all we know at the moment, as you hear the ding for the end of the boxing round. So somewhere in the third quarter, it is the Newcastle Vikings 10 and the Nottingham Caesars 6, and outside of those two plays to start the game, you've got to say the Caesars have struggled on offense. This Vikings defense has done a really good job in the run game and in the pass game as well. GT counter incoming. Wellington, Tafrei is taking the ball, and the ball pops out straight into the hands of number 11 there. That's Victor Quast coming back down with the ball. And that's the second or third time now today we've seen ball security issues for the Caesars.
Yeah, it is not what you want to see. The moment you start getting a good block, the moment things start to turn around, you're giving the ball back in ideal position for the Vikings to go ahead and...
Yeah, and we talked about it again. The Vikings are taking over, this time in plus territory. For anyone who doesn't understand plus territory, plus is when you're in the opponent's half, so over halfway is often called plus territory. We're just going to wait to see where the ball's getting spotted up. They just want to move it by half a ball length.
Seeing what Grant Lawless said at the start of the game, this is potentially what was the fourth best team last year, really giving Nottingham, who are new to the Prem, a real run for their money.
Yeah, they are, and this is what was really going to be the question: is Newcastle were a good team last year, made it through to the playoffs, lost to the London Warriors because Paquetti, the ball is on the floor, throws it up, and my goodness, it's complete to Matt Wilson. How does he do it?
Doesn't matter that the ball's on the floor. Doesn't matter that he has to reach down, look away from the defense to get it up there to your guy.
Yeah, and there we are. So complete to Matt Wilson. They're not going to give him forward progress. They're going to mark him out just short. 2nd and 1. What I'd love to see from the Vikings here is a shot down the field. 2nd and 1, you feel like you can convert it on 3rd down and try and get that ball back and just convert those chains, move them, keep them moving.
You do have the opportunity here to just absolutely rip one towards the end zone and hope you can bring it back on the next play, or do you just that you've got 2 yards a clip every time you've ran it so far? Do you just get yourself to another first down?
Yeah, so tight end's been brought in here, and it is a handoff to Islam, who's got a long way to go. And he's gained probably about 10 yards there on that play.
Yeah, keep it simple. Just keep generating first downs however you get them, and you're going to get closer to the end zone.
Yeah, so 20 yards to go. I think that ball's basically going to be spotted. It's not going to be spotted on the 20-yard line. It's a quarter change. This is a long one for the defensive lineman and the offensive lineman.
This is the opposite of the dream. This is, you've got the referee behind you trying to encourage you to jog across the field when you've already done 3 quarters of football.
So, into the final quarter in the first game of the Premiership North this year. The Newcastle Vikings lead the Nottingham Caesars 10 points to 6. It's been a low-scoring affair, though. You feel like both teams could have put up more points at times. Lloyd, there is 15 minutes left. How do you see this going?
I think we're going to keep it nice and close. I think that there is going to be a bit of back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings walk away here with another score, but Nottingham finds something to bring it back a bit closer.
So Piketty in the backfield with Islam behind him. Henry Scanlon with the heavy blitz. And Islam is going to be the runner, taken down after a gain of 4 there. Islam again running hard yards.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's slowing down. Game's gone on and he's still getting you 3 or 4 a clip.
Although he's running off the field, holding his arm. So I think he will be being subbed out here. It's time to see who the backup running back is. We've got number 26 there. Kieran Reid looks to be the backup running back here for the Vikings. So 2nd down and 6. Piketty now with a new running back there. We're still yet to see Ross Conley come back onto the field. It's still Wilson and Hewitt, number 82 there in the slot, and Marfsey, number 81 to the top of your screen in the white sleeves. Again, heavy pressure, and it's Piketty keeping it for the first time on a read option today, as there is going to be a maul formed. The ball is out, the ball's on the floor, and it's time to see who's fallen on it. I think a Vikings player has fallen on it. Yeah, there we are. The offensive lineman coming up there, John Stubley, number 71, saying, I've fallen on it.
And that is exactly what you want from your O-line. Just get that belly on top of the ball, cover it up, and let the play carry on.
Yeah, it's always a difficult one because you know other people are going to come diving in for the football as well, and there's always a bit of a hand fight at the bottom, so you've just got to hold on to it as best you can. So, 3rd and 5 incoming for Piketty and the Vikings. I wonder whether this might go to Matt Wilson down to the bottom of the screen. No safety help over the top. It looks like Andy Wilson's going to have to do it all on his own, as Piketty is going to try and direct traffic. Yeah, number 87, Bowcut there. Jake Bowcut being moved into slot left. I think this is going to be an illegal formation. It is going to be an illegal formation. It was going to Matt Wilson. It would have been a touchdown if not for the illegal formation penalty we assume is going to be called. You could see Theo Hewitt, number 82, desperately asking for Marfsey to get onto the line after the motion, and he just didn't do it.
And that, you expect to see a little bit of that in the preseason. You hope you've ironed out all your on-off splits and your rules as you get there. It's a coaching failure, not as much as a player failure. You need to make sure your guys understand what their routes and concepts are and their motions before they're on the field.
So that's not just a big play in terms of 5 yards. It's a big play in terms of 7 points coming off the board there. So going from taking the lead by 10 points would have been the Newcastle Vikings. They are now going to be 3rd and 10. So really interesting to see what the Vikings do, because it did exactly what we thought. Straight down to Matt Wilson at the bottom of the screen against Andy Wilson, number 38 of the Caesars.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see something very similar on the next play. It was working well. Sorry if the boxing's coming through over my voice.
Here we are, empty for Piketty. You've got Islam now in slot left. And what will Piketty do? He looked over towards Matt Wilson. He's got so much time. It's Okafor coming through with the pressure, and it's going to be incomplete. I think that's Islam. It's bobbled through his hands and then through his legs. So 4th down for the Vikings incoming. Danny Crane has shown that he's got a decent leg to kick field goals. And it does look like Danny Crane is trotting out onto the field.
And at that point, are you forcing Nottingham to go for 2 when they next get the ball to try and get ahead? There's not that option of drawing it up anymore.
Well, if this game ends in the draw, it's a draw. So from memory, we don't go to overtime in the regular season. It would just be a tied game as it went through. This is when there were so many rules, even with BAFA and BAFA standings, that I can't quite remember. So this would put the Vikings up 7. Time to see what we can do. Let's go to the end on camera. Danny Crane gets the ball up, and I think he's pulled it, you know. It is. Danny Crane pulled the ball. The Vikings will still only lead by 4. The Caesars have a chance to come back into this and take the lead with a touchdown.
You can almost hear the collective sigh from the Caesars sideline again, just keeping them in this game, nipping at the heels of the Vikings.
Yeah, they really are. What the Caesars now need to do is put together a consistent drive to move down the field, or hope Sam Fraser can break off another big run.
That's always the option, isn't it? Pop drop it off on a 2-yard pass and hope that he runs downfield for you.
Let's just go to the comments quickly. Oh, Josh Penny, favourite of mine from Durham, because he did a great job for me prepping all the Durham stuff. Danny Crane, you're right. 2 years as Durham's kicker and punter, and Durham badminton. And also, an opinion in the stream we'll have no comments on. At least Notts have a 90-yard field. Teams should be relegated for having a field shorter than 90 yards. We have no opinion.
It's a strong viewpoint.
We have no opinions on that, as we see the run there from Niall Simpson go basically nowhere. They've maybe gained half a yard on first down, and really this is a struggle in the run game. And we've seen it like teams before. I hate to say them again, but I've done their games. The Nottingham Gold basically didn't have a run game in the university season, and you saw it eventually culminate in the quarterback throwing about 57 times to try and win a game. If you've not got a run game, all the defense has to do is just respect the passers, the receivers, and they're not using these screens as like almost an extension of that run game to say, okay, if we can't run the ball, let's just throw the ball out wide and make you deal with these screens. Short motion from Niall Simpson there as he's going to take that ball. And it's going to be, that's a great tackle there. Number 49, that is Awusosu. And that's a great tackle. Number 49, I would say, is the worst number you can wear in football. 40s we know are the worst numbers. And I wonder whether it's 48. 48 and 49 are never the best.
I wore 48 as a player for 2 seasons. I think that is absolute slander.
So there we are. Third down incoming for the Caesars. Already in a sticky situation. You've got Oliver Tassin to the bottom of the screen. They're going back to this mesh that they like. And it's left short for Eke. And it is incomplete. It looked like Victor Kwas could have come down with another interception, but he does not. Fourth down in the fourth quarter. You know time's ticking down, but you've got to think that this is a punting situation.
It looked like they were questioning it for a second, but it does look like common sense has prevailed and the punt unit is coming out now.
So we're now going to go to a 2-man crew at the start, and it's fine. You can now hear Sean Endicott leaving the booth.
That's not the cameraman, Sean.
That is correct. Elvis has left the building as the punt is down, kicked away. Will Morgan with the big kick, and that's going to be. See, he's not signaling for a fair catch and then taking a knee and getting upset about it. Just talk. Sorry, just doing a quick bit of moving around in the booth here. It will be the Vikings taking over. The Caesars really starting to struggle on offense. They had that one big play on their second play from scrimmage to Sam Fraser taking 60 yards. But so far, the Vikings have only had one touchdown scoring play, the big play to Matt Wilson, a deep bomb thrown from Paquetti. And it's just going to be trying to work out what's going to go on here. Though if you were Newcastle, I feel like you would want to start trying to run the clock out a bit.
Yeah, at this point you want to try and control the game flow. You're in the lead. You've got every opportunity for you. You've been able to control the ball throughout the day.
There we are. The pass taken, and apologies, it's just, this is the score bug. When you're doing the filming, you can never quite actually work out how tall it is. So we'll wait to see. I think it's going to be incomplete there. Unsure who the intended receiver was on the play. But it's going to be second down for the Vikings. If you're the Caesars defense, you feel like you almost want to try and score yourself and just take that pressure off your offense and say, it's all right, we'll let you guys take the lead, and then we'll go straight back out and try and keep the game tight.
And it's not beyond the Caesars defense to do that. Many games last year, they were actually outscoring the offense until the third quarter.
Yeah. Nice to see Ross Conley back on the field, number 14 on the orbit motion. This is a handoff to Islam up the middle. Henry Scanlon, number 7, was the first person to make contact. But a big run again there. 6 yards on the carry for Islam.
Now, great work for his offensive line, getting behind him, driving forward, getting those extra yards. That's the things you're not seeing from Nottingham at the moment.
Yeah, and it's the thing they're struggling with. Nottingham's run game's really just not been there, whereas the Vikings' run game has been. So we've got third down incoming here for the Vikings. Paquette has about a long 4 yards to go. Will it be a handoff to Islam? Will it go to one of the receivers down to the bottom of the screen? It
Or
won't.
you just get it for free.
Just sorting out some camera operator stuff in the booth here. But it will be a first down for the Vikings. The hard count has worked for the third time today. Paquette has got a good cadence on him, managing to draw somebody offside. Someone calling Bora Dogman the flop merchant. I mean, he's getting an Oscar with that. It's going to be a handoff to Islam, trying to go around the side. There is a flag coming from the top side of the screen. I'm going to wait to see what that one is, but it looks like it's being given against the Vikings.
Yeah, often in those outside zone runs, you're going to get a bit too grabby. Your offensive linemen are going to end up holding, especially if they're expecting you to cut back for an earlier gap.
So let's have a look. We will go back 10. The Vikings will be dealing with a 1st and 20 here from their own 24-yard line. It is difficult to see the red lines on the green fields, I've got to admit.
Yeah, you can understand why they're not the most popular colour combination.
No, it's not the easiest, particularly if you're red-green colourblind. So 1st and 20, you feel like Paquette is going to have to go to the air here to help pick this up. He's got Islam in the gun. They've gone to that 2 tight end set there with Bowker, and that might be Wilson there. And the ball is on the floor. Paquette manages to pick it up. He's going to be nailed by Andrew Wilkins, but he's got a man wide open down the field. He's going to be hawked down by Yeboah. But there's number 82, Theo Hewitt, deep on the reception. And just when they look to be in a tricky position, as there is a flag in the backfield, I'm going to presume that's a late hit by Andrew Wilkins, even though as a defensive lineman, I would call that fair.
We'll have to see what comes up. But it's so difficult. They've worked so hard on eliminating those big plays, and then just give up one right at the moment where you really needed to turn that around. You just got the holding penalty. You got some momentum. It's a real killer.
Yeah, and it looks like it was given as a late hit as well. So not only will it be the big play, but from this point, it will be half distance to the goal as well, because it wouldn't even be 15 yards.
No, not from the spot of that ball.
So going to be interesting to see quite where the Vikings are going to end up. But that's an enormous play there for the Vikings.
Apologise for any camera angles now. I've had to jump onto the cameras instead of commentating.
You're doing both, and I've got to admit, an admirable job at doing both at the same time as well.
It'll all be all right on the day, is what they said to me.
Yeah, it'll all be fine. That's what the group chat said at the start of today. So Matt Wilson, number 7 there against Bismarck Yeboah, number 15 is probably the combination you need to look out for. With heavy pressure, Islam's got a gap though, going to be met by Henry Scanlon, but not after a gain of 3 or 4 yards.
That's exactly what you want of you, the Vikings now. Stay in plus position, keep taking some time off the clock, getting closer to the end zone, limiting Nottingham's chance to come back into this.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun to see what they can do here. They can pick up a fresh set of downs if they get the ball to the 1 yard line. That seems to be where the chains have been set. Paquette will go into empty here though. From left to right, it is Wilson, Bowker, Islam, Hewitt, and Conley as the eligible receivers, with 5 offensive linemen to protect Paquette, but he does such a good job with his legs as well. Nottingham rush 3, it's to the sideline, and it is incomplete. The attempted receiver was Matt Wilson. Again, he has been Paquette's favourite receiver today, and that's going to be a deadly combination to look out for this season.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the last time we're calling their names out today or this season at all.
No, definitely not. third down, and to all intents and purposes, third down and goal. It's about third down and 6 if they were going to pick it up, but it's going to be from the 7-yard line here. And Piketty again will go into the empty. The eligibles again exactly the same, left to right. And what can Yeboah do against Matt Wilson, number 7, to the bottom of the screen? We'll see which way Piketty looks as the ball comes to his hands. He's looking right. He's still got time. The time runs out. John Winter and Henry Scanlon combine for the sack. So 4th down incoming. And will Danny Crane come out to attempt the field goal?
Similar sort of distance from last time. I'd give him another shot at it.
See if Lloyd can bring the big tight camera in, we might get a nice shot of this. There we are. Don't worry. Normally Sean's here and he can just go point the camera and go. These cameras are not easy to work. So Danny Crane is going to be out to kick the field goal. Snap back, hold down, kick is away, and the kick's being pulled again. The Caesars are staying in this game by the skin of their teeth. The score stays Newcastle Vikings 10, Nottingham Caesars 6. So we are in the 4th quarter. As we've said before, we have no game clock. We do not know how long is going to be left in the game. All I wait is for Jed to tell me that it's the 2-minute warning. And at some point, we might be able to get an idea on time. But Nottingham really have to start putting together something on offense. They've had nothing since their second play of the game.
Yeah, they've been given opportunities and they've not taken them so far. It's now or never, really. Obviously, we don't know the time, so there might be another opportunity in there. But they really need to find something on offense.
They do indeed. They're going to come out. Trips to the bottom of the screen. It looks like Ben Harrison, Josh Oluwatassin, and Salasi Sosu are going to be the receivers down there as we get quads flow with the running back coming across. And the ball is on the floor. Managed to hand off, but McGovern had his knee on the floor as he did it. So as McGovern picked the ball up, his knee was on the floor, which immediately calls the play dead. We play college rules. We do not play NFL rules. So if your knee is down, that is play over.
And it's such a killer there for the Nottingham offense there. It looked like there might have been a block or two ahead of that. It could have turned into something, but simple things like snap exchange, we've seen it on both sides now. It's crucial for managing the game.
Yeah, they managed to pull the right guard through and up. There would have been room for Jeffrey, but he just couldn't do it here after the handoff. 2nd and 13 incoming, and it is going to be McGovern looking downfield, and he's going to find Oluwatassin on what, I mean, just as neutral as you would like to see as his first reception. As Lloyd's got the hang of the cameras, he knows to pull that off. It looks like we've actually got 2 Vikings players down there. It's difficulty to see who it is, but we've got physios from both teams already coming out onto the field. But yeah, Josh Oluwatassin's first reception there in probably about 500 days in a real game. It's really good to see him back after tearing his Achilles, which is usually a devastating injury.
Yeah, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. He really is heart and soul of this team at times. He's really given a lot to the players around him. What we've got to hope now from the Nottingham sideline is that they can generate a few more of those plays like that where they can just extend the chains, keep moving. They're now looking at 3rd and short. Is it from the 3rd and short, 3rd and 1 or 2? Can they capitalise on this? Can they get themselves a fresh set of downs? You've got to be thinking of your Grant Lawless. Everything's 4-down territory from now on. Clock provided. Might be longer left than we think.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where they go here on 3rd down. Because, yeah, third and a long one, 3rd and 2 maybe, depending on the angle. This injury is going on slightly longer than we would have expected. We're going to see the Nottingham Caesars head to their sideline. And is that the Vikings player? Is that the Vikings player being helped up, or is it just the gaggle of Vikings players behind him? I can't quite tell. Still one on the ground. So while we're here, let's have a quick chat about the league this year. And this is going to test my memory. You have the Nottingham Caesars, the Newcastle Vikings, the Manchester Titans, the now Coventry Phoenix, which is really taking some getting used to for me, and the Merseyside Nighthawks. So going to be interesting. Obviously, with Edinburgh dropping out the league, takes it down from 6 teams to 5. Obviously, in the south, they've got 6 teams down there, as it does look like players are being helped. Yeah, the player's walking off under his own steam, which is good to see. But yeah, 8-game regular season here. Then it's going to be the top 2 go through to face off in a semi-final. You've got to think whoever comes second in the north has got the unenviable task of travelling to London to take on the Warriors. And I would probably assume that the Bristol Aztecs will travel up to whoever wins the Premier North. But it's going to be GT counter, and it is blown up. Jeffrey has nowhere to go. And has he fallen? No, hang on. He's fallen for the first down. He was corralled right in the backfield and has just somehow managed to fall forward for the first down. How he has done that, I do not know.
That's an incredible amount of work to just go, I'm getting this for the team, and I'm pushing forward.
Oh, apologies. Someone just corrected me. It's EKP. It's East Kilbride Pirates, not the Merseyside Nighthawks. It was the Nighthawks that got relegated. And, yeah, it shows you how much of this league I remember. I didn't have to reference the league for this. I just referenced this game. McGovern going to take it, and it's going to be that counter again. Jeffrey going to get to the outside. Going to be rolled up high as there's some fisticuffs at the back. Flag comes out. Going to be a gain of 4 for Jeffrey, and we're going to wait to see what the flag is on.
So we had Harry Washburn rolling around with one of the defensive players. We'll see which way this one goes.
I have a feeling it's going to be going against the Caesars here because Washburn did slam him down a little bit. Although there was definitely some high hands coming up. Let's wait to see what Jed Brooks-Lewis, our white hat, does today. It's going to be personal foul against the Nottingham Caesars, and that is a killer because that is going to move them back 15 yards. And when they've struggled getting 10 yards on each set of first down, and having another 15 put on top of it is going to be really difficult.
It is really brutal when you think of how hard they've had to work for those last 15 yards, getting the first down through determination alone because he was hitting the backfield. It just really takes the wind out of your sails while you're trying to generate offense, and time is ticking still.
Time is ticking as we see. It's not even bunch. There's a stack with 2 behind the up back, and now we see the motion out. Sosu is the single receiver with Harrison, Oluwatassin, and I can't quite tell who the top receiver is, but McGovern is looking that way. He's going to find, it is Eke, the receiver, who's running backwards, and he's going to cost his team a lot of yards if he gets taken down here. It's definitely going to cost his team a lot of yards. He was about 4 or 5 yards further down the field and has then run backwards. There was an offensive lineman down in the backfield, but he's managed to get up during the play. James Simpson has got up and he's trying to say to the sideline that he's okay. So second down, after all of that, we're only now on second down. So second down as a hat goes flying. I'm not sure what this is going to be now.
James Simpson seems to be walking away.
He does seem to be walking away from Jed. We're trying to see what this is going to be here, folks. And for the readers at home, it's very difficult sometimes to tell, particularly when Jed has thrown his hat and not his flag, but he didn't throw the flag during the play. So I don't know why he's thrown his hat. So we've got unsportsmanlike conduct. Right, we're going to presume against James Simpson. And we will wait and see. Who knows? But that's going to cost them another chunk of yardage here. So the Caesars are really shooting themselves in the foot here. And there's very little that they've done offensively that would make you think they can go down the field.
Yeah, this lack of discipline that you're seeing from the Caesars here is really worrying. You want to see people get impassioned and want to bring it when they're down and behind, but you've got to have a limitation on it. You've got to have control of your emotions on the field.
So I think they're already 15 yards short of where they started on the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be 3rd and 25 because that penalty seemingly was after the... Well, it was after the play as well. It seems to be in the huddle. I've honestly no idea what that would have been. Although...
There have been some choice words between the...
I think it was potentially language unsavoury for broadcast. So, Liam McGovern is going to have to throw a miracle ball here, you would think, if he's going to make his way down the field. Stack receivers, Ben Harrison in short motion. Ben Harrison's going to run the post. They're going to throw it deep for Sosu, and Sosu is not going to come down with it. Again, that's going to be Taylor Walton, number 2 in coverage. He's had a good game so far today. Just had that one blown coverage when Sosu didn't come down with the ball. So 4th down, you would expect this to be a punt. I think even Grant Lawless isn't going to go for this on 4th and 20. Oh, No, Grant Lawless is going to go for this on 4th and 25. Which probably says enough about the time pressures on the... I know. 3rd and 25. Someone got the chains wrong on the previous play because it definitely said 3. So 3rd and 25 incoming here. Apologies for that. Sometimes the chain crew are wrong and the referee should have corrected it. So it is snapped back. Liam looking deep and he's just going to get flattened there. Can't quite get a number coming through. It's number 57. You're again not on my roster, so you don't... Oh, is it 52? No, it is 52. Borges Baptista. He's had a really good game today, playing out of the defensive line slot there. So really well done to see from him. I love to see the photographer just try and run through the back of shot. So looks like Will Morgan is basically going to be punting with his heels on the back of the end zone. A safety is very much in play here. So Will Morgan, short snap, big pressure from number 18 again. He may have got a hand to it on the way out. As we're going to see, the ball has gone past halfway. It's going to take a very, very, very generous Caesars bounce. And it's going to go all the way down the other side of the field. It looks like they could be on the 30-yard line of the Vikings here to take over. They are indeed 30-yard line. So the Vikings here, you would feel like just want to work the clock. They're not going... Like, a score would be lovely, don't get me wrong. But they need to work that clock down and really make sure that the Caesars have nothing left to work with when they take the ball over again, if indeed they do take the ball over again.
Yeah, problem with being in the booth, we don't know how close we are to the 2-minute warning. On the field, they may have a better idea of how much time they've got to play with before they can really kneel this game out. But as you said, keep the ball on the ground, keep that short screen game there, try and eat away as much clock as possible.
Yes, and it is Paquetti coming out. There is a receiver down at the bottom of your screen just by the logo for the Beer Keller, one of the sponsors this year. But it will be a handoff to Islam as the camera whip pans round. They are really difficult joysticks to use. They do nothing and then everything all at once. Gain of about 2 yards there, but more crucially, time ticking off the clock for the Caesars. And this is what it's going to come down to, Lloyd, isn't it? Will the Caesars even get the chance really to possess the ball with anything meaningful left on the clock so they can do something with it? Or are the Vikings going to manage to basically burn the clock out and win this battle of attrition?
Yeah, what you don't want as Nottingham is to get your opportunity but only have your timeouts and very limited time left on the clock and be forced to play to an offense that isn't your strong point, to shoot down the field.
Yeah, very much so. Paquetti clearly trying to burn out all of the clock he can before he calls for the snap, as he will do here, and it will be a handoff to Islam, who has got the space, and he has got the first down before Harry Johnson, number 32, is going to take him down.
Just how they drew it up, just enough to get the first down, get some space, keep the clock running.
Yeah, that's really it. It's how they keep this clock running. So they are going to be, as clearly somebody, they're very happy about winning in the boxing. Who knows? There's almost a phone being thrown there. I wish you could see it. Sometimes it's a lot more fun. One day I'll set the camera up so I can flick to it. But I don't know who it is, so I don't feel like I can broadcast them. So, the Vikings are 2 yards from halfway. They have 47 yards to go here at the David Ross Sports Village. They are leading by 4 points, only 1 touchdown. Paquetti, 2. Wilson was a deep throw of about 50 yards in the first half. And we've since had a Danny Crane field goal to make it 10-6. But what can Paquetti do here? Islam has been running well. Would you see him keep getting the ball? Or are you going to go to Wilson or Conley on either side? No, it will be Islam. It's got an enormous hole to run through. And that is yet another first down picked up.
You've got to be able to cover the basics here. I know they're worried about the deep shot, but that outside contain is crucial to limiting the run game.
Yeah, that's great running there by Islam. He's had a really good game so far. You've got to think, if he'd have been given carries all day, he's very clearly going to be over 100 yards. I reckon he's at least over 50 yards on about 3 carries in the first half, and then whatever he's had in the second half here. So you've got Conley to the top of your screen. Wilson to the bottom of your screen, who has really been the danger man all day. Theo Hewitt has managed to jump in as a good receiver throughout the day. But it's heavy up on the line for the Caesars, and it is going to be Paquetti to throw. He's going to throw deep to Conley up top, and it's just going to be out of the reach of Conley with Andy Wilson trailing in coverage.
Another one where Nottingham are lucky to come away with that, with no damage on the plate.
So second down incoming for the Vikings. It's the first time we've seen Paquetti have to throw in a while and just overthrew his receiver at the top of the screen. What can the Caesars defense do here? They've held the Vikings to 10 points on what's been pretty poor field position, really, for the Caesars defense. It's been good field position for the Vikings. I'm just looking down at the bottom here. Matt Wilson and Bismarck Yeboah completely on an island together. Very little safety help. Maybe Alex Cooper, number 9, will be coming over. But that is a handoff, and that's the first big negative run we've seen all day there. Number 94 for the Caesars, Marshall Odonore, is coming through to make first contact there.
Yeah, and you do think here, what have Nottingham got to change up to try and either get a score, get a turnover, get something positive momentum so that they've got a chance? And they've clearly gone, try and beat us with your arm now. We're going to go singles on the outside. We're going to have one safety over the top, one apex player. Everyone else is going to be in the box.
Yeah, so it looked like the Nottingham Caesars just took a timeout there based on the signals of our head judge, Jed Brooke-Lewis. So that would leave them with 2, as long as I've not missed one at some point during the day. And interesting that the Caesars are taking timeouts there. I wonder, I haven't seen the 2-minute warning yet. Have you? I've not missed it completely, have I?
I don't think we've seen the 2-minute warning.
I don't think, yeah. So with no 2-minute warning, there's a potential that we are only just ahead of the 2-minute warning, and that the Caesars are going to, hopefully, they think, use the 2-minute warning as kind of a 4th timeout for them here. It is going to be 3rd and long, but we've seen Paquetti be able to throw this ball deep, and he's had a really good connection with Matt Wilson, who, for potentially one of the first times today, comes in at slot left with Conley at the bottom. You would want to think that Sam Pearson and Bismarck Yeboah are really going to want to do a good job covering them. But let's see. Paquetti does indeed look that way. It was a pump and go. It's going to go to Conley. What can the Caesars do? They're going to bring him down out of bounds as well. So the Caesars are going to get almost a free timeout with how the clock seems to be running. So it will be 4th down. You can only presume that the Vikings are going to want to put in a coffin corner punt. Just try and put it down in the corner where the Caesars can't really return it and make it really difficult for them to come out on offense.
Yeah, you do have the option of the field goal here as well, but the last 2 haven't been successful. You do think, do you just want to keep on your defense, which has been playing really well for you today, realistically?
Yeah, 6 points, all of them coming off the second play from scrimmage for the Caesars. As we'll just wait to see this camera come around a little bit more, just check that we are in punt formation. We are indeed in punt formation. From memory, it's Ross Conley, the punter. The punt goes up, and it is going to take a Vikings bounce. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep going. The 5-yard line is where the Caesars are going to have to start this drive if they have any chance of taking a win in their opening game in over a decade in the Premiership. Liam McGovern is going to have to go 85 yards down the field with Salasi Sosu, James Harrison, Ben Harrison. Don't know where I got James, the Steelers defender. James Harrison, Josh Oluwatassin. Those are the guys that are going to have to make some plays here. Maybe Sam Fraser out the backfield, but they'll be working the sideline, working the clock, as we see on 1st down here. It's going to be a throw out to Ben Harrison, who cannot come down on the 50-50 ball there. That's number 32 in coverage. That's Ben Jefferson, the first time we've called his name today, with a good job against last year's Division 1 Finals MVP.
Yeah, and they have come out swinging here. There's no hitting the short stuff there. They are trying to push the field and get down the field as quick as they can.
Yeah, they are indeed. So, motion here from Oluwatassin to motion off into trips with Ben Harrison and Eke to the top of the screen. That is the way that McGovern is looking. That is the way he throws, and he's managed to get that taken in. I'm just going to check that. That is Kingsley Eke, number 1. It is Kingsley Eke, number 1, the receiver there. And looking at the speed of movement, you've got to think that time is absolutely dwindling here for the Caesars.
Yeah, it's a clear no huddle offense. You can see Grant Lawless on the sideline is screaming to his guys to get set, and get the next play out.
Yeah, McGovern here, waiting for the cadence, waiting to call. Doubles here, running back, flanking him on his right. He's got a little bit of pressure there for number 18, and that's intercepted. It's been picked off by the Newcastle Vikings. That looks like Robert Brumpton, the long-time Viking, coming down with it. And you've got to think that that might be the end of the Caesars' day here.
If that's not the nail in the coffin, it's pretty close to it, unfortunately, for the Caesars.
Yeah, you would think so. Let's see what happens when the offense comes out. Because if they just come out into nil, there is that we'll know this game is basically over. I think the Caesars have got 2 timeouts. So, maybe depending on the clock, maybe the Vikings will have to run something. But we're not entirely sure. We haven't actually seen the 2-minute warning, which is one of the real difficult things that we have. Is not knowing exactly when the 2-minute warning is. Though this does look like a victory formation here. So we are going to presume that the Newcastle Vikings are going to take the win. Obviously, you can't rush victory formation in BAFA. It's not like college ball where you see them all have a fight when they rush the victory formation. You see the handshakes. We're going to wait to see the ball lifted. And the ball is above the head in the first game in the BAFA Premiership North. The Newcastle Vikings take down the Nottingham Caesars by a score of 10-6. Now, Lloyd, that's been a really close game today. It's been a real struggle, really, all day for a lot of the players. I've got a pick for MVP. I'm hoping your pick for MVP might be the same as mine, but who would you go for if you're going to pick one?
Give me a second to think on that one. All I was going to say, we said at the start of this broadcast, Nottingham, keep yourself up, keep working hard. I think that they gave a good showing here about a team that will be in the playoffs come the end of the year. And I think it's got to be Donovan, really.
Yeah, so I think MVP for today's game is going to go to Paquette, the Newcastle Vikings quarterback. He's done it all through the air, on the ground. He's done absolutely everything you could ask of him today. So Donovan Paquette, you are the Week 2 Nottingham Caesars versus Newcastle Vikings MVP as we see the teams come down for the handshakes at the end of the game. Obviously, there's going to be dismay for the Caesars. They had a year last year where they were scoring 50 points a game with ease. To suddenly be held to 6 points in the first game is going to be a bit of a wake-up call for them. What do you see from them going forward?
Like we said, this is a team that will very likely be in the playoffs at the end of the year. I think there was a good few plays in there. We didn't see a lot of consistency after the first 2 plays, but there's things to build on. There's little things like the penalties, getting 30 yards of personal fouls on one drive that you can get rid of, and that will really make a difference in this game. I think for the Nottingham Caesars, defensively, there was tight, but there was a couple of lapses. Nottingham are used to having a defence that can really get after the QB and dictate the pace of a game. I think they'll want to get back to that as soon as possible.
Yeah, so next up for the Caesars is the long trip north up to East Kilbride Pirates next weekend on the 20th of April. Then join us back here on Caesars TV on Saturday, the 3rd of May. It is going to be Saturday Night Lights. We haven't got a confirmed kickoff time, but it will be a Saturday evening against the East Kilbride Pirates. They will have a couple of weeks off and then go straight back in against the Pirates. So for the last time today, from myself, from Lloyd, and from Sean, who has departed us, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.
Right.